The overly long, overly dramatic court case surrounding the pending APK acquisition by Microsoft has finally come to a close. What's next for the industry now that the floodgates appear to be open even wider than before? As always, let's talk about it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 58, round 2, for the second week of July 2023. I'm your host, Mike Z, and joining me once again, as always, every time, all the time, the man with the best hair on YouTube, the Birdman himself, Logan B. I don't know if that's true or not, but sure, I'll
Definitely
give it to you.
not. But yeah, welcome to episode 58 of the XP podcast. Um, yeah, this is gonna be pretty weak in my opinion. Not a lot has happened. But we do got some big ones. I mean, I guess as again, I've saw that there is one big thing in this, but I haven't been really following it as much as probably a lot of people have. But other than that, how was your week, Mike?
Well, before we get into all that, Logan,
Yes.
I'm gonna start teasing something. You ready?
Yep.
So in 11 short weeks, we're gonna sit down and record the single most important episode that this podcast will ever record, and that is the episode 69. So guys out there, I'm happy to announce in 11 weeks you will get the first ever full-fledged XP podcast devoted to all things sexuality in video games. I don't know if that's actually what we're going to be doing, but sure,
That would be hilarious.
let's
if
float
we
it
do.
out there.
Yeah.
We're going to be ranking our top 10 sex scenes in video games, and that might actually be a joke. We might actually do it.
That
Whatever.
would be
I don't care.
fantastic.
I'll do it.
It could be a rankum.
It could be a special rank 'em.
It could be a special rankum, yeah.
We rank our top 10 sex scenes in video games.
That'd
All right.
be hilarious.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. All right. Anyway, man, what's up? How was your week, buddy?
Well, how was your week? You didn't tell me how your week was.
Well, I did the first time we sat down to record this, but
Yeah, oh yeah. So by the way, people, you clearly don't know this. This is like the first recording for a lot of you. For us, we just went through 20 minutes of this episode just to learn that Mike's mic was not recording at all. But yeah,
by the
so,
way, I've been thinking about something this week. I think I'm going to rebrand myself. What do you think about this? So,
Okay.
obviously, Gamus Erectus on PlayStation, and no, that's not technically a sexual thing, but it's actually a dual-purpose name. But then I'm DJ Ike. I wasn't right. I'm DJ Ike, everyone else, and that has a basis from like football and like some of my nicknames. I think I'm either gonna rebrand myself Gingerbeard or
Okay.
the Ginger Gamer. I don't know which one.
Gingerbeard.
I was gonna say I like Gingerbeard a lot better, so that's
I
good.
think
I'm
that,
glad.
yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go
Is that-
through a
you know-
rebranding.
Gingerbread.
No, I'm not doing that. It's gonna be Gingerbeard. But
Yeah.
my week was okay. I'm kind of in the post Final Fantasy high lull right now. Like I'm done with the game. Spoiler alert, I'll talk about it in the rundown. But I have completed the campaign. And I'm doing my second playthrough and all that right now. But I'm kind of in that lull where I feel kind of bored. I feel kind of lethargic. Don't really know what I'm doing right now. I'm waiting for things. I was gonna get a chance to play Immortals of Avium in this kind of gap, but I can't play that now. So yeah. And then yesterday, I woke up with a compounding headache. Thanks football. Pretty sure I got CT or something. I don't know what's going on with me, but every once in a while I wake up and just massive headache for 24 hours. Just incredibly knockout, drag out headache. And I tried to explain it to people, and I guess a lot of people don't get this sensation. But do you know I don't ask this because of your history. I ask this because you're the only person I'm talking to right now. You know when you're drunk and you kind of get that like super floaty side to side feeling and you're just like, oh shit.
Sort of. Yeah.
Okay. Imagine I get this feeling sometime when I have headaches that like I'm floating outside of my body. Like I'm floating above my body. I feel like I'm higher than what I am.
Okay, yeah.
And it's kind of hard to explain to people. And I thought everyone has this feeling, but every time I try to explain what I'm feeling, or how I'm feeling, like no one gets it. So yeah, but it just always feels like my brain is like a couple, like maybe a foot above me. And it's the weirdest disconnect feeling. And it really makes it hard to do anything. So I didn't do anything yesterday. So, but usually the way that comes up, I wake up, I have like this pounding headache. I can feel my heartbeat in my head, and then I take some medicine that goes away after a couple hours, and maybe a good nap, and then after that, I'm just like sitting in my chair, just like, ugh.
See, here's my problem with headaches is I don't just ever have just a headache. God, I wish I did. No, my headaches always turn to migraines. Every time. I've never just had a headache.
See,
It's always been
I don't think I've ever
to
had a
the
migraine.
migrainer.
What's a migraine? Because I don't think I've ever had it.
It's like think of a normal headache, but times that by like 5. Like it's much more painful. It feels like my like head is like shrinking in. Which by the way, also I always seem to get like weird headache, like migraine feels when I wear glasses. It always feels like it's like squeezing my head in, and I don't know why. But yeah, like
Bend your
migraines just
glasses
sucked.
out. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
I actually bend my glasses out to kind of make them a little looser on my head because I only wear my glasses when I'm like around the house, or
yeah.
like if I just my eyes hurt. I don't put my
But
contacts
yeah,
in. But
like migraines just suck. Like, I had them all the time in college, and so that's why I always had a big bottle, like a huge volume pack size of ibuprofen next to me, and I would like basically take it every day, and it sucked.
there's this new stuff that I take because I'm a caffeine addict. I'm a caffeine fan.
Yeah,
That probably doesn't help my headaches, nor does the nicotine that I consume. But those two things probably aren't assisting me in getting over my headaches.
yeah.
But I've come to deal with the repercussions of my life choices. Like if I get headaches, twice a month, whatever, I can deal with that. But no, it's like this. I think it's called Excedrin. Anyway, it's essentially like ibuprofen with caffeine in it, and it works really well. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's what I take, and it works. So that's what I'm doing. Probably doctors out there are cringing. I'm gonna die tomorrow or something. I don't know. Fuck it. But anyway, how was your week, man?
It's pretty good. It was a very slow week, very boring. Nothing super exciting happened. I didn't announce the thing I got last week, so I'm just gonna show it real quick. I didn't even do this in our previous recording, but I did happen to win a new MacBook Air, M1 chip version. Very fucking good. I'll tell you right now. I mean, I actually edited our last thumbnail, which by the way, if you go check out our last episode, episode 57, I actually edited that thumbnail on this laptop. And you want to hear something funny? Photoshop is actually technically faster on here than it is on my PC. And I'm like, what
Yeah,
the
I'm
hell?
sure it is. It's always been like
Like,
that.
like
Yeah.
it opens up in like half the time on here, which I wouldn't even really say it's slow on my PC because trust me, like nothing is as slow as my old 2012 MacBook Pro that I had. But this thing is like you hit it, it's open. It's like instantaneous. It's insane. But yeah, I've been using this occasionally. Sometimes I don't want to sit here at the desk. Sometimes I want to watch like I was watching like a movie and I was editing the thumbnail at the same time on my laptop, and it's kind of nice. I don't know, it's chill. It's a little bit more chill than me sitting at the desk and just looking at the screen. Um, but yeah, it's been a pretty slow week. Not a lot's happened. Nothing really special. I am starting to this isn't related to gaming, so if you want to skip a little ahead, but I'm actually starting to try to push forward a career in photography and graphic design. And so I'm actually within this year going to start taking it a little bit more serious. And so I hope to actually build a website. I actually went out to the bars yesterday with Amy with her friend's birthday. No. Sorry, Amy's friend's birthday, not friend's friend. Amy's friend's birthday, and me and her boyfriend are pretty cool with each other. And he's actually a rapper in St. Louis. Go check him out. His name is Philosophy. Go check him out. Really good stuff. Trust me. But yeah, me and him got around talking, and he like showed me some cool things like a dot card which is a really cool thing for basically a business card and in a sense, And yeah, so I just feel like this year I'm gonna actually start taking it a little bit more serious. I think I'm gonna start offering my services out for graphic design and also offering my services for photography in general. So yeah, I know that's probably really boring. It's not gaming related, but I don't know. It's just what's been going on with my life.
I'm
So,
only interested in hiring you for one service, but that's illegal in the United States. So
oh boy. All right.
no, I would love to hire you to be our wedding photographer, but I feel like you're gonna be on the podium with me, so
Yeah.
can't do that. So but yeah, so yeah, it's definitely is slowing down a little bit in gaming. Like we only got 4 games releasing this week of any sort of like note or consequence. So I guess it's nice to have a little bit of a lull here and there where I can kind of
Yeah.
chill, catch up on some TV. Started watching this new hospital drama, that kind of stuff I love. So and like you said, I have a laptop too. I write the script while I'm like watching TV and all that. It's nice to kind of get away from this chair and this screen in front of me right here every
Hmm.
once in a while and deconnect. But yeah, well, that was a much longer and a better intro than we did the first time, so that worked out well.
Yeah. So
Um,
maybe it was a good thing it didn't
yeah.
work out.
So,
Yeah.
well, anyway, let's start the show as we do every single week with question of the week. And before we get into that, guys, just want to let everyone know out there, please, 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 if you like us, if you listen to us, we want you to be a bigger part of the show moving forward, week in and week out. Comment down below, give us some questions, give us some topics to talk about. We want to include you guys in the show. We want you guys to feel like you have something to say about the content that we put out and kind of how this show goes on. So when more people start commenting, we'll make a whole nother segment just answering you guys' questions. They can be gaming related, they can be personal related, not too personal. Don't ask me, don't ask me what tick I end up on, like a ruler, if you understand what I'm saying. Not gonna answer that question, even though I'm not shy about the answer to that question. So but yeah, let us know down below what you guys want us to talk about, anything you want to talk about, gaming, movies, TV. Stay away from books because Logan hasn't read a word in his entire life. So,
That's
but
mean, but
it's not
you're
me.
not wrong that I'm not much of a reader, so
But all right, let's get into question of the week. And this week's question, simple. Hopefully, Logan's had enough time to think about it up to this point. But
I
you only have one option, Mr. Birdman. What is your dream remake? And I will go first.
okay.
You're not surprised by this answer, obviously, but I
Yeah.
want again. Mine's kind of cheating again because like it's technically not one game. It'll end up being one game, but it's a combination of 3 games. So it's I guess cheating, but not in the same frame. But I want a ground up visual remake of the original God of War games in the graphical styling of the Norse saga and all that. So I want the gameplay, even the camera, even though I know the camera is a hot button topic in modern times. I think the camera is awesome and it works the way they designed it to work and the way that they wanted it to work to show you the things that they want to show you. But I want all 3 of the games placed out into one long, just epic 25-ish hour story. And, obviously Logan knows. If anyone listens to me, I don't know. Listen to us out there knows. I'm a pretty big God of War fan. I mean, let's see, Ascension, God of War 3 Remastered, God of War Collection, God of War 3, God of War Origin Collection. I also have the PS2 games too. There it is. I got the OG black box God of War 2,
Oh hell yeah.
and then I had God of War. I don't know where I put it, but it's there somewhere. But yes, I'm a huge fan of the series. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, PlayStation franchise that is still ongoing. And I just really want to play those games in the best format I can. Well, honestly, anyway, because it's kind of hard to play if you don't have a PS3. Well, they're impossible to play if you don't have a PS3 unless you want to stream it. But I did try streaming it a little while ago when I was kind of in like my testing out PSN phase, and
Hmm.
it works fine, but there is noticeable latency enough that even me, someone who's played those games 10 plus times now, I'm like, man, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. And
Yeah.
I'm very good at those games. I can beat those games on God difficulty, whatever the highest difficulty is.
Yeah.
I've beaten them all on the highest difficulty. So um, I I'm gonna go ahead and blame the latency. I'm gonna blame the lag. Screw it, you know.
Yeah.
So I want them. I want there to be a better way to play those games, and only Blue Point could do it right.
Yeah.
So Blue Point remake the original 3 God of War games in one long Greek saga. Don't know what you would call it. Call it God of War Greek Finanza or something. I don't know.
Greek Finanza.
Wait, did I say Finanza? I meant Bonanza. Sorry. I was
Yeah.
like, Finanza is
Yeah.
not a word. So,
Yeah.
all right, you've had now 30 minutes to think about this,
Yep.
Logan.
Okay. Well, I have a different answer than I
That's
did
good.
before.
Your last
So let
answer
me talk to you
sucked.
about the first one I said, the previous thing, just to make fun of myself. But I didn't really know. It was a really difficult thing because a lot of the games that I've wanted to be remade in a sense have already mostly been remade. But my first one was Red Dead Redemption 2. But since then, I've had a lot to think about. 20 minutes of a mistake, then, re-recording.
I thought it
So
was Red Dead 1, not 2.
it was Red Dead 1. Sorry, that was my
Yeah, I
bad.
was like,
Maybe I said Red Dead 1 too, but I don't know. Whatever. Red Dead
Redemption.
Redemption original
Singular.
OG 2008 or no
Nine.
2010. 10. That's when it came
Or
out.
10? That was
Yep.
9.
Yeah. I just watched a video on Undead Nightmare and I think they said it was 2010. I'm pretty sure on that because 2008
Yep,
was
you're right.
GTA 4. Yeah.
May
So
18th.
I actually want to change it to a game I've never played before, and this is the power of remakes, and this is why I kind of want to change it to this. I am a fan of the Fallout series quite a bit, and a lot of people would say they want remakes of Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas, but people forget there's a Fallout 1 and there's a Fallout 2, and that's where the power of remakes really comes to play. That's why Resident Evil 2 was so much more powerful in my opinion because that game was so unbelievably dated at this point that it really did need it if it wanted to hit a modern audience. And Fallout 1 and 2 are extremely dated at this point. Like very, very old games. I don't know exact release dates. It was somewhere in the 90s, the 80s. I don't know. I think it was something in the 90s. It's very dated. So, what I would love to see is actually a remake of one of the original Fallout games, and it would be using obviously the new engine. And yeah, and it plays just like Fallout 3 or well, more like Fallout 4 ish, I think that would be really cool. Again, those are two games that like I don't know which one to choose, so either one would be I'd be fine with. But I've never played them, but that's why I want them to be remade because then it would give me a reason to go play them. So, I don't know. I just think that's the power of remakes. Like I would have never played Resident Evil 2 at this point. It's too old. I don't want to go do this fucking.
Are you still going to say, are you still fighting the fly?
Dude, this fly. I just don't get him. I don't know what he has, dude. This is the Fly Chronicles, dude. It's been going on for 2 episodes, and he just keeps coming back.
Hey, you know what? He just wants to be a part of the XP podcast, man. Just embrace it. Embrace the lore, the grand scale of our 40 subscribers on YouTube. The XP podcast. The Fly wants to be a part of it. I did have another answer, but based off recent revelations, I'm fairly certain we will get this in the next decade or so, and that's the original Metal Gear Solid. I want to be remade desperately, but I feel like that's coming eventually. So
yeah,
I didn't answer that. So, but all right. Anything else? I'm looking at the list of the best PS1 games. I had one for you. A ground up Blue Point remake of SOCOM.
A man can dream.
All right, that's what it's all about.
It would
dream
be
remake,
dude. That would be awesome. I would love that.
I would love that for you.
I highly doubt it would ever be a real thing, but
also,
I would love to see that. Yeah,
I want it to happen because like SOCOM is one of the very few PlayStation franchises that I just don't have a really, I wouldn't say any knowledge really, because I've only played like I think I played one for like a rental period, you know?
Yeah.
Like I never got into SOCOM. I was never really deep into multiplayer stuff at the time those games were coming out. I'm not I mean, obviously I'm
I
still
never even
not.
played the multiplayer to be frank. I literally the first time I ever got to play anything online was on the 360, and that was like 3 years into the 360's life cycle, I believe, is when I finally got it. But I'd never played PS2 or Xbox original online ever. So I mainly played SOCOM because that was back in the day. The charm of fucking fly, I see you again. Is just couch co-op. I used to go to my friends and we would all sit down and literally SOCOM was couch co-op. You could play, I think, up to 4 players, if I remember right, and that shit was awesome. Because I was kind of a military nut as a kid. I loved military stuff. I still love military movies. I love war stuff. Um, Not saying that I support everything that war does, but I don't know, it's fascinating to me.
You like the
And
stories. You like
yeah,
the
yeah.
heroicism that we put
Yeah,
behind it.
it's just interesting. Not so yeah. So and that's why I was a huge into those kind of games. Like I played SOCOM, Conflict Desert Storm, Ghost Recon, all those guys, dude. Oh, especially Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. Oh man, that game was so fucking cool. But I didn't even play the 360 and PS3 version. No, 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 no. I played Advanced Warfare on the Xbox original.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, which by the way, those games have a weird history where there's like 3 different versions. Like Advanced Warfare has 3 different versions of the game. There's the Xbox original and PS2 version, then there's the 360 and PS3 version, and then there's a different version for the PC, which is like this weird ultra realistic version of it. And that's just super weird. But yeah, I never played
Is it an
Advanced
advanced
Warfighter.
fighter? Okay, I thought you kept
Yeah.
saying warfare, and I was like, isn't it
No,
fighter?
maybe
But
I am. It was a war fighter. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
They were so good, dude. I loved those games. I don't know. It was just, it was classic shooters. It was tactical and it was fun to play with friends. Especially the
Yeah.
first Ghost Recon, man. I was obsessed with that. I remember renting it and playing like, I think it was like Terrorist Hunter or something like that. It was something like that on Ghost Recon. I don't know if it wasn't called Terrorist Hunt. That's a Rainbow Six thing. But yeah.
But I mean that's where I think remakes should be held, like bringing back
Hmm.
these games that, for all intent and purposes, younger people didn't get to play. I'm not calling you a young person. You are younger than me, but like, I don't think you ever played Super Mario RPG, and you're gonna get a chance to play it in its best form. And Super Mario RPG is one of the best RPGs, not
Yeah, I'm
just
excited.
from that time. It's one of the best RPGs ever made. I put it right up there with, I don't put it next to Final Fantasy 6 or 7, but like it's in the same kind of conversation of them. Like I think Final Fantasy 6 and 7 are way better game. Well, not way better, but better in general.
Well, yeah, and also like for example, you just said it, Final Fantasy VII. People probably don't want to go back and play the original Final Fantasy VII, but now they can play the new remake. That's the power of remakes. I think that's what's so good about them. That's why I like these ones that are like they're straight up remaking something that is so old and they're like changing it to a more modern style. And that's why I say Fallout 1 and 2 because those are very old games. They are nothing like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. It is completely different. It was pre-Bethesda, and honestly, I would love to see them just kind of recreate them. Like
Yeah.
heck, if the new Fallout that they're gonna release is just a remake of those, heck yeah, I'd be down for it. I've never played it. A lot of people probably never played it. So
But I feel like we've
I,
fallen into this trap as an industry of remaking games that are just for
I mean, it's
lame.
the same thing for
For,
movies.
yeah, I was gonna
We're
say
remaking movies
no.
constantly, you know.
My whole statement was gonna be, for layman's terms, we're remaking games that aren't old enough yet. Like
Oh no, yeah, no, I
yeah,
agree with that.
Last of Us
Yeah,
Part One,
it did
Assassin's
not.
Creed
It didn't
4.
need to. Yeah,
Like we're remaking games that don't need to be. Like I think Assassin's Creed 1 or 2 deserves a remake
Yes.
way more than
Dude, Assassin's
4
Creed
does.
2 for sure should have deserved it more than like I love Assassin's Creed 4, don't get me wrong, but I still think to this day Assassin's Creed 4 is still a beautiful looking game. It does not need to be remade. It's not even outdated in its gameplay in many ways. Like I still think it plays perfectly fine.
Better than
It's
Valhalla.
just yeah. So like, again, I think I agree. Or why did I say Resident Evil? Assassin's Creed 2 for sure should have been the game that they should have remade, in my opinion. I don't even like Assassin's Creed 2, but I know it's popular and I know a lot of people love it, and I think that deserves it more because it is dated now. So I don't know. I think that'd be cool.
I even think RE4 was pushing it a little bit. Now
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4 remake is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of my favorite
I need to
games
go play it again.
of the year
I
so
want to.
far. It's fucking brilliant. But like, I still love the original. I think the original plays still pretty darn well. Like, I think people could go back to that game. It's available. It doesn't have the God of War or Metal Gear Solid problem. It's available on everything ever created for the history of time. So I think that we're even kind of encroaching on. Doesn't need to be remade, but yeah, definitely, for however much I enjoyed Last of Us Part 1, I mean, I'll never say it needed a remake. It didn't. But, all right. I think we've jibbed and jabbed for... Is that a saying? I don't know. I just made it
I
one.
don't know if that is
I just made it one. Screw it. I'm making stuff up as we go. Life is made up. What are you talking about, Logan?
exactly.
All right. Well, ladies and
We're all in
gentlemen,
virtual reality. We're all in the metaverse.
probably. God, that would
Yeah.
suck. Ladies and gentlemen, if you
God,
didn't know, this is the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast, where Logan and myself sit down with y'all and talk about all the news stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week. So each and every Monday at 8 a.m. so you can listen to it throughout the week or whenever you desire. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you enjoy what we're doing here on the XP Podcast, please support us over our Patreon, where you get to be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search Experience Point, spelled capital X, capital PERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry. We still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel where you can get this show and all of our shows in a beautiful video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. New episode reminders. I gotta think of a new topic for this. I'm thinking about should we just do like a previously on? Like freaking
previously on Black and White. No, don't. Yeah.
So previously on the XP Podcast, episode 57, we talked about Assassin's Creed 4 being remade, Data Lake Entertainment shutting down internal development, Final Fantasy 16 selling 3 million copies in its first week, and so much more. So go check that episode out if you want to. Then come back to us for this week's news. Speaking of this week's news, with all that out of the way, let's get into the show. And around the point, Microsoft has finally won its case against the FTC, and all we have next to ask is it finally over? Neil Druckmann now sits alone atop the Naughty Dog hierarchy, and EA has announced a new Black Panther game from the minds behind the Middle-earth games. Then in LTR, we dive into the reviews for this week's games, but before we get to all that, as always, it's time for what is, and forever will be, the Rundown, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing throughout the week, whether it be gaming, TV shows, books, movies. It doesn't matter to us because we like it all and love to talk about it. Mr. Birdman, what, sir, have you been doing?
Well, let's start with something that we both did this week, and that is Exoprimal.
Dino Crisis. Oh, sorry. My bad.
Dino Crisis. You're right. It released yesterday. And me and Mike got on. We didn't really get we literally only played one match, but that's also because we had to go through like a shit ton of cutscenes just to get to that point. We probably could have skipped through them, but I kind of wanted to give the story a semi-try. Just, I don't know, try to figure out what it is. It's not really great, but
You know there's a codices?
What? Codices?
There's like a codex and to track information about characters and all that. Yeah, and when you got off last night, that's what I was looking at, and I was just laughing because it has all your crew members, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you click on the crew members, and it says information about this crew member. and then nothing. So I'm hoping that evolves as the story evolves and as you learn more about everybody, they keep adding to that. But I just was like, okay, let me learn a little bit about the crew, right? So I have like an idea of who they are moving forward. And nope, I guess
Nope, nothing.
hopefully, like I said, hopefully that develops as the game goes on.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, no, just thought that was funny.
well, I'm gonna throw it to you real quick and say, what's your overall, just from one thing? So again, we can't really base a huge opinion on the game yet because we haven't really gotten to play a lot of it. We've only played, by the way, only one singular match.
But
That's mainly my fault.
we played about 10 in the beta, so well, not 10, I guess. We played like 5 or 6 in the beta.
Yeah,
So
but I feel like that's unfair because that's technically a test version of the game. So what's
is
it's
it any
like
different?
really, but
Um,
well, it is different because they did lock off three of the
yeah.
mechs at the launch, which, by the way, quite the negative. We definitely have some negatives and positives, I think.
I
Maybe some positives.
I will say, coming right off of what I played in the beta and what I played last night, I am very happy that I didn't spend any money on this game.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
that's
agree with that.
and that's a good and a it's more bad than it is good, honestly. But this game is exactly what I thought it was going to be. And what I thought this game was going to be going into it, it was going to be fun for the, you know, 10 or so hours that you and I are going to end up playing this game.
Hmm.
Um, and that, at least right now, sitting here, there's just not a lot to it. And, I know this thing is like this combo, narrative multiplayer game where you're unlocking the cutscenes as you're playing. And I do have to admit, it's kind of intelligently intertwined. Once I kind of got to terms with how you kind of how the game's working is, you're being sent back in time. I guess spoiler alert, but you're being sent back
I
in
mean, it's in the
time.
trailer, so
You're being sent back in time to like the beginning of the invasion by the dinosaurs, all that, and you're going through, you're collecting these combat datas, and you're kind of digging into it, and then that unlocks the story that's set in the current timeline. And I will say it's interesting. I'll give it credit. It's interesting, but I said it before it came out. I don't think this game has any staying power, and the 6, 7, however many total matches we've played doesn't give me any sorts of hope that it has any staying power at all, like I thought. Outside of
yeah,
gameplay and all that, outside of, structure and everything, I think, yeah, the monetization of a full price game is criminal. It's fucking awful. Um,
yeah,
and Capcom's been on a massive high, and I've been rooting for them and cheering for them. This was the one that I was worried about, and it kind of brought all my fears to truth playing it. I'm still gonna play it. I'm still gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna hang out with you, have a good time. But yeah, man, you kind of already teased it a little bit, is getting into the game and booting it up and seeing that my favorite operator, my favorite two operators that I played in the beta, I can't play for a conceivable, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, however long it takes me to level up, hours, or I could just go spend $12 and unlock them immediately. And I will not get behind that kind of
yeah. It's just
just,
it's
I don't even know
it's
what it's called.
annoying.
It's like gating. It's like,
I just
sorry, I'm gonna finish real quick. It's like you had the
mhm.
beta, people played these guys. Obviously, those final three are the best of the groupings. People are going to want to play as them. And I guess it just doesn't make any sense to me to gate them off to progression. Like, you have a progression for each and every character, so you already have that like continuous unlocking of stuff that like Call of Duty kind of scratches that itch. Like, you're continually unlocking stuff pretty much all the time. You can play 400 hours in that game and still be unlocking stuff. So I don't really think, if in their mind they're like, well, we got to block something off of people to work towards. It's like, well, you have the upgrades of the suits you are
Mhm.
already upgrading and working towards. So I don't know what the decision behind that was. I just think that was a very bad one. And the moment I realized that, I was like, do I really want to
I-
work to play for the character that I want to play as. I don't
It
like
just
it.
seems like a move that something like a free to play game would do, or like a half price game would be, because it's like, I don't get why they're charging full price and they're blocking you from getting certain operators or whatever you're going to call mechs, whatever. And it just doesn't make any sense because, yeah, again, we were talking before we started recording, like there is progression no matter what. If all of them were unlocked, there is still progression for each and every mech, and there's a lot of it. So adding more grind upon grind just to be like, oh, I gotta get to level 30 so I can get the samurai guy, which, by the way, that's stupid long to get to that point, I feel like. And when you finally do get to the samurai, now you have to grind him to get to, like, why don't you just give everybody everything? It's like, just like Overwatch. I don't know how Overwatch is. I'm assuming everything's unlocked at the beginning. But why? I don't like it. I think it's really dumb too. And no, people, you cannot be like, oh, it's on Game Pass, so it's technically free to play, so they could do that. I'm like, but not everyone does have Game Pass. Like, people are buying on PlayStation, they're paying. And it doesn't even matter because technically that's the part of the deal. You're getting it on Game Pass. That doesn't mean that it's a free to play game. You technically are paying for it. And it is still a full price game if you look at it in the store. So you got to go off of that, not off of the fact it's on Game Pass. And that's where it's like, it is kind of disappointing because it's like, it seems like they definitely focused way more on their cosmetics and stupid shit in the money than actually adding stuff to this game. It seems kind of like there's nothing there. Like, it's even more annoying when you get to the menu. It's this big ass menu, which, by the way, very poorly designed. And there's one mode. And I'm like, okay, I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt back in the beta because I was like, okay, it's the beta. But then now we're at full day, like full first day release, and there's still just one game mode. And I'm like, this is a multiplayer game. Why does this have one mode? What? And then you, like, me and Mike were also talking about this. There was like someone that was reviewing it or talking about it, and like, oh, no, there's like 11 game modes. Like, no, that's not how it works. You
No,
put one
that wasn't even reviewing. It was just a random article because I was trying, because I've heard, I forgot what video I was watching, but I heard someone saying there's this like other game mode that also helps progression too, but you can only progress the story in Dino Survival. And I was like, well, what is that? So I looked it up, and yeah, there were like 11 game modes, and I was like, how dumb am I that I don't even know that there's 11 game modes? And I went in there, and they're separating the modes by the objectives of Dino Survival. And it's like, well, no, Dino Survival is the mode. The other things are the objectives within that mode. Like, that's the dumbest designation that I've ever heard a professional writer make, a professional media writer in games. Like, that honestly just felt like you're just trying to, like, get people to like the game, and that right there is a straight up lie. Like, there's not 11 game modes. There's 11 objectives that cycle through this one mode, and
It's even worse because it's like, it's kind of like they did the same thing that Halo Infinite got a lot of flack for, was that they bundled all these modes into one thing, whereas I think it would have been a lot better if they instead locked them all into this one playlist. They spread them out a little bit. You don't need to make like a million different playlists, but like, add a little bit more than just one. And you have this big ass screen of like this UI, and then all you see in the top left is just that one mode. That's it. It's either that or training. That's the only two things you could choose from. And you have all this, screen real estate, and you're just doing that. And it's just like, it's awful looking. It makes the game look even more bland because you're like, there's not much to it. And it's a full price game. And that's the problem. And I still think there is some fun to be had with this game, but they need to do something about it. Especially when I heard that they were going to separate the PvP stuff at some point, and I thought that was going to be done by launch, which I don't know how hard it is to separate those two. I feel like it's actually quite easy. I don't know why. I'm just saying, like, I actually don't think that would be that difficult. That is a matter of programming and changing some things around. But for some reason, it's still connected together, the PvE slash PvP mode. I still think it's a very weird mix, and I think they should separate them in some way, or keep it the same but add a PvP only thing, and I think people would really enjoy that. But yeah, I don't know. They need to do some separation. But I think I want to get to another negative, and that is performance. What the fuck is going on with this game? There is something wrong with it. And I, at first I was really confused. I thought, okay, maybe this game is just really demanding. Well, I set everything to ultra when I first started playing, and I'm like, man, I'm getting like 60, 70 FPS. I know that's a dumb thing to complain about. That's not what I'm trying to say. I was like, okay, maybe it's just demanding. Well, I pull up AMD software to see what's going on, and it's using like 50% of my GPU. And I'm like, okay, so maybe I'm having some kind of CPU bottleneck. No, I'm using CPU at 4%. Okay, maybe I'm using up all my RAM. Maybe this game is just really heavily memory intensive. No, I'm using 16 gigabytes. Then what's happening? Is it not using all the like CPU cores? Is that what's going on? Is it something with memory not going well? I'm not a genius when it comes to this stuff, but it is just, it doesn't make any sense when the fact that I'm using 50% of my GPU, and it's like it's just not acceptable in my opinion. Like, it's clearly not using all of my computer's power with this game. And it doesn't even, this game, by the way, isn't that impressive. It's using the RE engine, but I think this is probably one of the ugliest RE engine games out. I don't think it's like super ugly, but I don't think it's anywhere as good. Look, what?
I think the cutscenes look nice. I think the character models
cutscenes look nice. Yeah, but I don't think it's particularly the most beautiful looking game out of all the other RE engine games. Like, I think Resident Evil 4 is much more exciting. I also think even Street Fighter looks better in some ways. But I'm not saying it looks bad. It's just it doesn't look particularly that demanding of a game, and it just doesn't make any sense. And now actually seeing that it's not using my PC to the max, it's kind of frustrating. So you basically have to lower your settings and hope that within that 50% of my GPU power that I can use, I can get up to a higher frame rate. It's dumb. Fix it. It's a multiplayer game. People clearly are going to want higher frame rates. It technically is competitive. Fix that. Yeah, that's something they really need to fix. But yeah, I'm going to bring it back to you. I feel like I've been rambling on. It's not that I think it's a bad game. We are going to be probably hopefully playing some more of this after we get done recording. I would like to get more time into it and see. I definitely am not having as bad as with time as I did with Redfall. I actually am enjoying myself in some. Redfall just was not enjoyable.
Straight up broken, dude.
Yeah, that was worse. At least this game has a solid frame rate. It doesn't jump around. It's just the fact that it's not utilizing all my PC. That's the problem. I don't know the true... Dude, what is with these flies, man? Now there's 2 of them. Okay.
They procreated.
Jesus. Okay. But, yeah. So what do you think? I don't want people to think that I'm just hating on it. I'm getting some negatives out there. I have some slight positives, but I'm going to bring it back to you.
Well, I haven't really... Me and you were very different on the performance aspect last night. For me, again, and it's very singular when we're talking about PC stuff, because everybody has different things. It's not like we're playing this on the PS5. I think the game, for me, is running perfectly fine. It's not... Is it using all my GPU power? In the cutscenes, it is. Cutscenes is using like 99%. So don't know what's happening there, but
cutscenes are super demanding compared to everything else.
In regular gameplay, I'm at 1440p high settings. I locked it to 60, so I don't have any fluctuation or anything like that. It does run at like 80, 90, and it's using anywhere between 70 to 80% of my GPU. So it's not perfectly calibrated, but for me, it's not nearly as bad as it is for Mr. Birdman up there. So I don't have a huge negative play. But one thing, I did just want to ask one question, and you kind of already said your answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. It's, it's the ifto facto, like, reason for why we play games. Is it fun? And my answer to that is, for half the match, it is. The first 5 to 10 minutes of a match, I kind of
think the second half is way more exciting, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I actually agree with you. That's what I mean. I think if they made a separate mode just for specifically the PvP section. I think it's, dude, where are all of you coming from? Die, please. Okay. I guess all the flies want to be here today. I'm so sorry,
I'm telling you,
people.
man,
Sorry I was clapping.
get them window
Um,
strips, man. I'm telling you, they work
Jesus,
magic.
man.
I'm gonna send you some on
Um,
Amazon.
but I think I agree. I think the second half is the better part. The first half is just so lame because you're just basically going from one section to the next and defeating wave after wave, and it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the PvP part is the most engaging part of the entire match. And I agree with you. I think if they just separated that, I think they have something that can be really fun. Not saying that they don't need to add more. They definitely need more content in this game. It is very lacking for a full price video game. So, yeah. But I do agree. First
Yeah, I
half,
don't know.
not
I
great.
mean, pretty much I'm sitting at the game is exactly what I guess I feared, but it's a bad terminology. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And that's
Yeah.
neither good nor bad cuz it's meeting my expectations, I guess, but my expectations weren't very high. Um from the day we saw this, I didn't really think it looked that good. I do think it plays better than it looks. I think it can be fun. I mean, I still remember that game we had at the beta that was hype as hell, man, and it was so enjoyable and so fun. But man, I don't know. There's just a lot of things that annoy me about it, like the whole idea of you have to grind to get the characters you want, but then the fact that the XP isn't balanced at all, and the fact that from what I hear, when you win a game, you get like 2 levels, and when you lose a game, I barely got a half a level.
I
And
know.
it's like,
Yeah, that's
okay,
how it
so
was.
I just wasted 25 minutes of my time. Cool. And sometimes, it's kind of hard to what was I trying to say? It's kind of hard to always get a perfect team, and I feel like I'm being
Hmm.
punished by the matchmaking in a way. Hello, Cole.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna get more time. Like I said, we'll probably do a mini review on it. Maybe put out 20-30 minute episode video. I don't know. But where I'm sitting at right now, it's exactly the letdown I thought it was gonna be. It's definitely a step back. It's not really a step back for Capcom because they've put out so many things. I think they have a leeway for one middling game here and there. But yeah, I just don't think in a month this game's gonna be on anyone's mind. So I think everyone's gonna
Yeah.
play it. Luckily for Game Pass, people are playing it. I think every single person we had in our game was playing on Xbox. So thank God for it's on Game Pass, because I feel like if it wasn't, this game would be in
I don't. I know
a
I
hot
wouldn't
mess
have
right
spent.
now. Yeah.
I would have never spent full money on this game. Like, I know I've been talking about this for a while, over a year, that I was like interested in this game, but I was never like, oh, I'm gonna go spend full price on this game. Like, I thought it was a. And ever since I heard it was on Game Pass, I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'll play it. I'll give it a try. Um, but yeah, if it wasn't on Game Pass, no, this would have been a no go for me. So I'm happy it's on Game Pass, but I'm not gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that like just because it's on Game Pass, it just gets a pass. No, I'm paying for Game Pass, so it's just like me paying for the game in a sense. And I still think it's extremely disappointing because this game could have it would never be on the level of Overwatch in that, which is kind of what it's trying to compete against in many ways, especially with some of its cosmetics. Like it's like really trying to be like Overwatch in many ways. But I do think it has a place that it could be fun for like a couple months. Maybe some people will be really into it and love the whole dinosaur vibe. And maybe PvP could get better and they could add more things, but I don't know. For a full price game, man, this is very lacking in content, and that's the biggest problem in my opinion. I
Yeah.
think it still will always find an audience, but it needs more content. And for a full price game, this is pathetic. The amount of content you get in this game.
Well, the
So,
problem comes in is you're never gonna have a bigger audience than day one,
hmm
and that's a problem with a lot of games. I mean, how many times do we have to read this story? Like in 2 years, I'm like, oh, the game's great now. I'm like, you lost 70% of your audience, 70, 80,
I
90,
know.
whatever percent of your audience. So like, I guess for the people that stick around, yeah, that's great, but it's on you as a developer to make sure those people that are there day one supporting your game and ready to play your game, that you give them the best experience you possibly can. And I think this is one of those that people are going to use Game Pass as a rental service. Play it for a weekend and be done. And that's not what I want from games that come to Game Pass. I want Game Pass to, you know, be something better than that. For this game, that's a perfect analogy. It's the Blockbuster rental of video games for this weekend. So
yeah, you're renting it for a week and then you're gonna delete it and probably never touch it again.
Yeah.
So, which sucks because again, I do think this has somewhat of something. I don't think it is going to ever compete on, especially with the performance they're doing right now. I don't think it's going to compete with Overwatch, especially for that, because again, they're trying to compete against Overwatch, and I think Overwatch for sure. I don't think this is controversial. Probably is a lot more optimized than this game is in every way. And I think if they could optimize this game very quickly and actually fix the what I call bad PC performance, because it's not utilizing all of your PC, so therefore you don't get the full performance, and you have to lower your settings an exceptionally low amount to even get 120. I think is kind of a joke, because this is supposed to be a competitive game. You need competitive frame rates in that sense, and it's not doing it. It's not doing the thing it's trying to be, and so that is a failure in my eyes. And I also think, again, as I said, content. It's a full price game. Where the fuck is it? So, yeah. It is disappointing. I wanted it to be better. I thought maybe the beta was just because most betas don't have a ton of content. It's a beta, but it's literally the beta again. I don't feel like anything's changed. Other than I was playing on PS5 when I played in the beta, so I don't know how PC performance was on the beta, but now I'm playing on PC and it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
So
we'll see. We'll come back next week with a much more detailed. I'm sure we're gonna play it quite a few times. Logan is rocking the solo life for the next week, so we'll have much more time.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm alone by myself
forever. All right, let me like I said earlier, move on to the next thing. Let's hope it gets better for Exo Primer out there. Good news is I'm much more confident that I maybe will actually get some points from that counter pick.
Let's hope not. I'm hoping for us. As I said, I'm hoping for a 70. We both could be good. You know, it's good.
Yeah.
No negatives on either side.
That's fair. I do hope for a straight 70 to be fair to both of us, but at the same breath, I'm trying to catch Worthy and I need some points. So, but all right. Final Fantasy 16, like I said in the intro, I have completed the main campaign, or as Japanese people call it, the main scenario. That's what they've always called the Final Fantasy stories, is the scenarios. Don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason, but 75 hours of my initial playthrough. I'm now up to, I think, like 85 hours on my second playthrough. Well, no, not 85 hours on my second playthrough. 85 total hours played the game. And yes, man, this game is phenomenal. And I'm excited to sit down and give my full review, my entire thoughts on it, and everything like that. But man, what an experience. It was a ride. It was a long, long journey. And like I said, I probably played it in the way that they don't necessarily intend for you to play it. And I did everything I possibly could. I completed every single thing in this game on my first playthrough. Definitely not going to do that my second playthrough. I'm going to rush through this so I can get my platinum. So, but man, what an experience. I do have to say, the ending doesn't fall flat at all, but it definitely, the hype train kind of levels out a little bit after a certain boss fight. I guess a couple boss fights. 'Cause, dude, man, when you play this game, we got to sit down and have a discussion of, are these the best collective boss fights in the game? Not difficulty-wise or anything like that, but just pure spectacle. Like, some of these fights are absolutely insane. And I was just sitting there, just jaw to the floor, in awe of what they were able to achieve visually in these boss fights and in these set pieces, and what they were able to achieve emotionally and narrative within that visual spectacle. I think is easily top echelon of video games out there right now. Now, saying that, there is a pretty significant disconnect between those moments and those events and the rest of the game. There is a kind of a funny joke going around the internet right now. Is there's a lot of people that worked on this game. By the way, Platinum helped with this game, and they were in the credits. I don't know what they did, but yeah, there was a big credit for Platinum Games. I don't know what they worked on, but so there was a lot of studios that worked on this, and the team behind Kingdom Hearts worked on this game, and it was funny as hell, right? So a couple months ago they put a post like, "Oh, we're looking forward to see if you can figure out the parts that we did," and I was like, "Was it all the shitty parts?" Because that would make a little bit of sense. I'm a Kingdom Hearts hater. Leave me alone. I love RPGs and all that, but I do not like Kingdom Hearts that much. I think it's
I like the vibe of Kingdom Hearts.
so overly
I don't
convoluted.
like the story of Kingdom Hearts. The story of Amy actually showed me a TikTok of this dude trying to explain the lore of Kingdom Hearts, and it's absolutely fucking.
It's like the worst Venn diagram ever created.
Because like it's like he's like explaining it to this other guy, and he's like Xehanort or whatever, and he's like Xehanort. He's like, wait, but Xehanort's is better. No, but Xehanort's this guy, and you know, like it's hilarious. Or he's like, but Sora, but then there's Dark Sora, but then Sora is kind of like this guy, and it's like it's hilarious, and it is funny because literally Kingdom Hearts is just a mess, and I don't.
Yeah, it's like
even
that,
if you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts, you gotta admit the fucking plot is a mess. It makes no sense at this
I
point.
played the first two games, and I cannot explain the story of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
doesn't make any
it's like
sense.
that meme from Pacific Rim of the guy with the freaking whiteboard, and he's just like this, and there's just lines going everywhere.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's actually more confusing than that, because it's fucking bonkers. But anyway, I'm getting on Kingdom Hearts, a game that I don't even really like that much. Let's get back to Final Fantasy 16, a game that I absolutely love and adore. I cannot wait for you to play this game, man. Again, I do not think you're going to like this as much as I liked it, because I have a deep reverence and appreciation for this franchise and some of the connecting things that they set up, and some of like the lore that feels like in a way connects to other games, which is really cool, and some of the things that they're playing with here and there. But man, the story is deep. I mean, they play with some mature adult themes. We're talking about slavery. We're talking about like what it means to be a human, what it means to be a deity, and how we accept those deities in our life, whether we fight back against them or we accept an all-powerful being. It plays with obviously political drama. It's heavy on the political drama. All the characters get their time to shine. All the enemies that you fight, all the bosses are set up well. The main cast gets incredibly detailed. Each one has their own stories and narratives and moment in the sun. Even the side characters. There's just one side character that gets 4 side quests dedicated to him, and each one builds on his character to the end of his like quest line. And dude, it's all great. Yes, it does get campy. It does get overly dramatic here and there. That's the Japanese inspired. That's the Eastern inspired game. Name me one anime that doesn't get overly dramatic sometimes. Like, that's just what they do over there. Crazy stuff happens and all that. And so yes, all those things are in there. But man, when you start diving in and you start appreciating what they're doing and what they're trying to do here, and how mature and adult this game is, and put it in layman's terms, it's simply fucking brilliant. And it's not perfect. There are problems. I'll talk about those in the review. It's not a perfect video game. But man, the moments when this game hits, when everything comes together and you're in this boss fight and you're stringing together the combat perfectly, and you're countering things and you're parrying things, and then you get interlaced story interactions with these huge moments. It's some of the best experiences I've had in recent memory in a video game. And I cannot recommend this game anymore to most people out there. I think this game is probably the most approachable Final Fantasy ever made, because it does so much right, and it's accessible from a modern lens in video games. So yes, I love the game.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
I'm happy you did.
I put a lot of time into it. Still putting time into it. The platinum will be mine. Which, by the way, it's still it's only at like 1.1% of the people who play this game have the platinum. So I'm gonna be in a a club. Let's say that. All right, run through a couple of your other things here.
Okay. So I kind of already ruined this for Mike, but I want to talk about it. I went to go. I finally watched Boys season 3, which if you haven't watched that show, I highly recommend it. It's super freaking good. It's kind of weird that Amazon made 2 superhero things that are both kind of really brutal and a more darker side of what heroes are. But dude, this fucking bug, man, I'm telling you. So yeah, Boys season 3, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it was so good for me that I may have stayed up a little too late, till 4 in the morning. Really dumb of me. I get it. Not a smart idea. But I was in it, man. I was in it. I was just like, I can't stop. I need to know what's happening next. And I just kept watching and I finished it basically almost within a night. I just got back from work and then I watched the last like half of an episode and then the last episode. And wow. I gotta say, man, season 3, absolutely fantastic. Like, I honestly think it's better than season 2. And I think they kind of have, like, season 2 had a lot of weird things happening where I don't feel like it was as fascinating as, dude, this fucking fly, man. I don't know what your problem is. Okay, get out of here. Okay, but yeah, it's fantastic. It's super good. I just love the one thing I especially love about The Boys so much is the fact that it is always super tense, in my opinion. The tension is always at its max. I don't think there was a single episode I'm like, oh man, I'm not worried about anyone this episode. No, I'm worried about everyone, every fucking episode. I'm worried about who is going to die. Who is Homelander just going to absolutely murder? When is he going to snap and do something absolutely insane?
And I think
I love that.
That's the brilliance of his character.
Mm-hmm.
He is so unhinged and so unpredictable. They have made you through these first 3 seasons believe that at any point in time he'll just fucking laser somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is I think that's just the brilliance. I mean, he's the best character in the show. He's so good, dude.
I think then Butch. I like Butch as Butcher as well quite a bit.
He's fine.
Yeah.
I think his story his season 3 story arc kind of is pretty mid, but that's just my opinion.
That's fair. But yeah, I just, man, I loved it. It was so good. I'm so excited for season 4, which is supposed to possibly come out this year. But as people may know, there is a writer and now an actor strike going on.
They have announced that they're actually not stopping production. It's one of the few shows that's not stopping production.
Oh, okay. So
Which
I
could
think
be
they
good,
already
could
got
be
done.
bad. So
Yeah, they finished filming it like a little bit ago, either a couple months ago, I don't know. So they're probably in the editing phase, and soon, hopefully, it will come out this year. Just like Invincible season 2 should be also coming out this year. But yeah, if you haven't watched The Boys, trust me, it's fantastic. It's basically what if DC heroes were dark and absolute psychopaths and kind of like children in many ways. It's very good. Go watch it. There's so many twists happening. Especially, I do think season 2 did have some very good twists. Especially because I didn't read the comic books or anything, so all I know about The Boys is just watching it, and I'm very happy I do just know it from watching it. Yeah, man, Boys season 3 was just absolutely great. Like, it was probably one of the best shows I've watched this year, I think. Yeah, I think this is the best show I've watched all year. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna go through one more thing real quick, and then I'll bring it back to you, and then I can finish up. I finally watched the Batman, Michael Keaton Batman, which is 1989, right? Yeah. Yeah. Finally watched it, and I sort of now get why people were really pumped about him being in the Flash, because I've never watched his movies, and if I did, it was mainly like it was on TV, and I watched like a part of it, and never got to see the whole thing.
It's so gothic, man.
It's really good. Like, I was like, I was really enjoying it. I plan on watching the rest of them. I know
you can stop after the second one.
What?
So you can stop after Batman Returns.
Oh, I can.
Well, yeah, the other ones aren't.
Yeah, they're George Clooney, right?
Well, George Clooney's the fourth one, technically. Batman and Robin. The third one is. Oh, I can never remember his name. Shit.
I thought Batman and Robin was the third, and then it
No.
was.
Batman Forever is the third one.
Oh, okay.
And I cannot remember for the life of me the guy. The guy from Top Gun. Not Tom Cruise, by the way. The other guy from Top Gun.
I've never
What?
seen Top Gun, so I don't
Yes,
know.
I know, but I figured you would know. Val Kilmer. There we go. It's Val Kilmer
Okay.
one with Two-Face and the Riddler, and it goes off the rails. It's yes, just watch the first two. You don't need. I mean, Michael Keaton stops being, and that's the first two. So those are his movies. But
Yeah.
dude, they're so good, and they're so like what I mean by gothic. I mean it's like it's that feeling. It's like that bloodborne gothic, the architecture, the
Mm-hmm.
way they design Gotham to look. I mean, there's a reason why Gotham is named Gotham because it's based off of gothic tendencies. That's the reason
Yeah.
Gotham is Gotham. And dude, I just think they nailed it. In that first scene when he floats down from the clock tower and the music kind of swells and oh dude, so fucking good. It's old
It is
though.
really good.
I
It
I
is old.
I did watch it last year. I was like, huh, this doesn't look the greatest of all time, but
No.
the feeling is still there, and now you've gotten at the time, which was the best Joker of all time. You know, his Joker is wild, and it's so
Yeah,
fun to watch.
I like that he uses a lot more gadgets than any other Joker I've seen, and I really like that because that's a lot of what Joker is about. That's why Joker is such a flip side of what Batman is like, 'cause he still uses gadgets kind of like Batman, and I like that. I don't know, I just think it's cool. It's corny and weird, especially the scene where he literally pulls out a big fucking revolver that he can pull out like a telescope and literally shoots down his ship with one bullet. Yeah, it's very corny and cheesy, but it's cool. I like it. I don't know, it's very Joker.
Yeah,
Like that's Joker from what I remember as a kid. So I like that a lot. I thought it was really, really good, especially like his ending and everything. I don't know. It was just great. I really enjoyed it, and
well
I
now
can't wait to
you
watch the rest of them.
now you even have a greater appreciation for the ending of the Dark Knight, how it essentially mirrors the ending of the original Batman movie with the Joker hanging upside down, and like it's just culmination of these two antithesis characters. And dude, it's I mean, I can have a whole freaking podcast about Batman and the Joker because they are the greatest duo of all time, dude. They're so good. But
And
also,
I especially love
sorry,
now
go ahead.
that I get a lot of the references in the new Flash movie.
Yeah, like when he
Like
flies
the
up,
bag, like oh yeah, flies up, yeah.
when he flies
Um,
up and he makes the bat single symbol and like the reflections in the moon. What's in the moon in the original one? But I forgot
yeah.
what it was in the Flash. I think it's the sun maybe. But yeah, dude, I geeked out when that happened. I was like,
Also, like the
it's like
bag that of the laughing bag that they find and everything. That's like
yep.
from the ending of the movie. That's and also obviously you want to get rough. Is that what he says? Or no, you want to get what was the saying he said?
Yeah, when they go into the
You
final
want to
fight,
tussle or let's
something
tussle
like
or
that.
something like
Yeah,
that.
I forgot
Yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what the line was, but
Yeah, but that was from the first movie too. So yeah, I now finally understand those. So now I have a little bit more of appreciation for those little Easter eggs, and I really like that quite a bit. Especially like his Batmobile. I think his Batmobile is pretty sick. But yeah,
all right.
I'll bring it back to you, and then I'll finish up my
All right.
last bit. So
I only got two more things. So I finally
yeah.
watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie. It's called Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Hmm.
I've heard good things. I kind of made jokes about it when it was coming out, but
Me too.
that was me not being knowledgeable about it. And I don't know. Look, man, I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons guy, so I don't know the lore. I know Baldur's Gate. I know Neverwinter. I know these certain things from pretty much gaming and all that, and I understand the significance of those cities and the different aspects of those cities. But I don't know the people. I don't know how good this movie got the lore right, anything like that. I just came at this like as a fan of movies and a decent critic of movies and what this movie brings. And I think what this movie brings is 2 hours of just fun. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna give Dungeons and Dragons on the experience point scale a B. I think this is a very enjoyable, fun movie that doesn't always nail it with what it's going for. Some of the characters aren't fantastic, and some of the developments that happen throughout the movie aren't completely nailed down. But I think if you turn on this movie and you scroll over to Paramount Plus and you hit play, and if you're like, I just want to have fun for the next 2 hours, this thing's gonna be everything you want it to be and more. And yeah, it's what Warcraft should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's coming from a guy that actually enjoys the Warcraft movie. I can sit down and really enjoy that movie, regardless of how good it actually is or not. So yeah, B tier. I think Dungeons and Dragons. I don't have a lot of super deep, detailed analysis because again, I don't have anything to compare it to. It was just a fun, enjoyable movie that was better than the average action comedy out there. And then I watched this movie called The Outlaws. It's a new Netflix comedy. It's a bank heist kind of comedy movie. And Peyton liked this movie a lot. Obviously, she's not the critic that I am. I fucking hate it. I fucking hated this movie,
I was
man.
about to say, I figured you were gonna say I hate it.
Again, there's a line for me with movies. I can enjoy a good, dumb movie. I've enjoyed plenty of them. Like, yeah, this is stupid. The writing isn't that great, but I understand it and I can get completely on board with just dumb fun movies. This movie was not dumb fun. This movie was dumb dumb. This movie was
dumb.
This movie was just a dumb fucking movie that's poorly written, not even that well acted, from a star-studded cast. This movie's freaking loaded with Hollywood talent, and it is just not good. And I'm glad that I looked up the Rotten Tomato score because I can finally see that maybe I was right on this one. It has a tomato meter of 22%.
Damn.
So, yeah, do not go out of your way to watch The Outlaws. It's a pretty shoddy movie. There's nothing more I have to say about it. It doesn't deserve too much more of my time. So, it was a waste of an hour and 35 minutes. That's for damn sure. Could have watched something way better. All
That's
right,
fair.
Mr. Birdman.
All right. So, I ended up watching yet another movie this week called All Quiet on the Western Front, which is a World War One movie. More set on the German side. And it's from basically like the point of view of a young soldier. Kind of like from the beginning where he comes in as a recruit and all the way to the end. And I think it was really, really good. I gotta say, man, this movie was fantastic. Is it as good as 1917? I think 1917 is just super special to the point it's really, I love it. But I still think this is pretty damn close in many ways. And it's fucking great, man. It's an experience, and also it has a pretty interesting story. Not only from the main character's perspective, but it shows a lot of like the problems with the chain of command of the Germans and also the government and how just kind of how fucked up German leaders were, especially to the very end. They were very psychopathic in a way. They're kind of crazy. But if you love war stuff and especially like World War One, go watch it. It's on Netflix. Fan-fucking-tastic. I'm telling you, it's really good. Make sure to change the voice to German because for some reason Netflix automatically goes to English, and because they actually all speak German throughout the entire movie, the mouths do not sync up and it's very awkward. And I didn't notice that until the first half of the movie, and I'm like, man, this seems really weird. It seems like their mouths are not connecting with what they're saying. I'm like, oh, it's because they're speaking in German. So you have to switch it to German with English subtitles, and that makes the movie so much better. So don't be like me and not notice that for like half the movie and then change it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, fucking great, fantastic movie. I absolutely loved it. I do think it's actually pretty damn close to being with 1917. I think the cinematography is amazing. I think just the action scenes were fucking awesome. Just everything about it was great. And it just the ending was pretty fascinating. So yeah, if you like that stuff, go watch it. I love war movies, especially World War One and World War Two. So yeah. And then my last thing, real quick, and then I'll let if you have anything to say. It's just more Deep Rock. I played more Deep Rock. There's not much more to say about it. It's fantastic. If you can get it for $10 on anything, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, it's worth it. So yeah.
All right. I did have one thing to say about the Outlaws. They had the gall to bring up Brosnan's time, Pierce Brosnan's time as James Bond. This is literally the line.
Mm-hmm.
Two characters are talking to two more characters, and the comedian character has a gun. He's like, "How does this make me look?" And the female character says, "Oh, it makes you look like James Bond." And the other Pierce Brosnan's character was like, "Oh, do you like this movie?" And she's like, "Yeah, I like that." He goes, "What's your favorite?" And she goes, "Oh, the fifth one." And he goes, "Oh, cool," because he was the fifth Bond.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, and that's the
I
scene.
didn't.
And I rolled my fucking eyes. I'm like, the gall of this movie to even think you have the right to include a James Bond reference because Pierce Brosnan played James Bond.
That's hilarious.
I was so mad. Peyton was like, "Oh, that's cool for fans." I'm like, "No, because fans of James Bond don't like this movie. Probably also never watched it." So
Yeah.
that movie sucked, man. It's real bad. All right, well, that was it. That was our rundown. That one ran long, but yeah, like I said, Final Fantasy 16, awesome. Sounds like Logan really likes Deep Rock. We'll come back to you next week with more detailed analysis and criticisms of Exo Primal. So stay tuned. Look forward to that. And hopefully we get a chance to sit down and do maybe a little short review. Give you guys our overall thoughts after a couple weeks or so of play. But as always, we're going to go now to Around the Point, where we here at the Experience Point go around the video game world and give you the news that you need to know about. Number one on the Around the Point, the biggest news story to come out of this week. It is official after all the testimonies over last week and the week before. Microsoft has prevailed in its court case against the FTC, with the judge coming down that the FTC did not provide enough evidence to uphold the preliminary injunction set forth by the FTC. This is what the FTC had to say. They said, "We are disappointed in this outcome given the clear threat this merger poses to open competition in cloud gaming subscription services and consoles. In the coming days, we'll be announcing our next step to continue our fight to preserve competition and protect consumers." And that step is they appealed the injunction. Of course, the stuff's going to go back and forth. But Microsoft is clear to close their purchase of Activision Blizzard King by July 18th, so 3 days from the time of we are recording this right now. And Logan said he didn't follow this too closely. I followed it pretty closely. We didn't really talk about it at all on the show because it's just a hot topic for fanboyism and negativity, and that's not always what we like to do here. We'll be negative when we deem it necessary to be negative, but we do Logan and I do like each other, so we don't love to argue all the time. But the way we're going to do this, I'm going to give you the floor. You can say whatever you want for as long as you want, and then I will do the same in kind. So the floor is yours for the next however long you want it.
Okay. Cool. They did it. All right. I mean, it's pretty much now. It's in the bag. They got it. Even with the whole CMA thing, which, by the way, CMA has now, after seeing that the FTC has basically said there's no really good case here, and there really never was a good case here, and well, now basically they're actually CMA's changing their minds in a sense. They're willing to renegotiate basically. So basically, this is to say the least, it's in the bag. They pretty much won. It's pretty much over. Yes, there might be some appeals, but will it hold up? Not really. They technically have gotten over the biggest hurdle that they needed to get over, and now it's kind of just it's gonna happen. And there's not really much to say about it, you know. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit that happened between Xbox and PlayStation throughout this whole case. Um, we got a lot of just everything leaked. We've definitely learned a lot about both sides for sure. I don't really want to do that because as much as yeah, we're a new channel, I'm not really here. We're not both here trying to milk views by bringing up all the most drama and being like Xbox did this, but PlayStation did that. It's whatever, you know. And honestly, again, as I said at the beginning of this year, I knew Xbox was gonna mostly win this, and they are going to win this. It's just there's not really much that can stop them at this point. They can appeal it, they can try to do all they want. It's basically over now. They just kind of need to work out things with the CMA so that the UK can still play Call of Duty, basically, or get new Call of Duties. I'm gonna guess, and shit will get figured out. So people don't have to worry about it in the UK because guess what? The CMA see that they won at the FTC, which was kind of they're like, oh shit, maybe we were wrong, and they're gonna change their mind, and it's gonna get changed, and everything's gonna work out fine. PlayStation isn't gonna lose Call of Duty, and I don't even think after the 10 years that everyone keeps worrying about, is it gonna get taken away? No, I do. I know for a fact they're not gonna do that because Call of Duty is a moneymaker. I mean, they're doing this because they know they're gonna make a lot of money from it, and that's fine, cool. You know, as long as nothing changes, and I don't think there will be any changes, then cool, that's fine. I don't really care. Heck, if Xbox can maybe Xbox will enable Activision to actually make some more original stuff. I don't know. I know they're very hands off on this stuff, but it also is a great thing because now they can also utilize Activision in many other ways that people don't talk about, and that is utilizing them to maybe help with other titles and maybe sending maybe some support from their own studios to Activision to do things. It opens up possibilities down the line, and that sounds cool to me, in my opinion. So, for the people out there, Overwatch is going to be on every console. Call of Duty is going to literally now be on every console, even the Switch, which originally was never going to be there, coming there. So just don't complain about it. Yeah, I get it that like a big corporation buys another bigger one. That's the world we live in today. And you can't be like, well, PlayStation doesn't do that. They've been doing that for years. They have been anti-competition for years. But it's just how it is, you know? It's the race of who wants to be better and who wants to be the thing. I mean, even PlayStation says Xbox has no competition, which is fair. I will say their consoles are not outselling PlayStation. But you can also tell Xbox has changed their strategy in many ways to be more towards opening up Xbox than more than just consoles as more of just a brand. And it's out there for everyone. And heck, Xbox would literally bring Game Pass to PlayStation if they could. So I'm telling you, whatever, you know, get over it. It's the world we live in. Don't be worried that that Call of Duty is going to get taken away. It's not getting taken away. None of that's going to happen. Okay? We're all good. We don't need to do console war bullshit. It is what it is, guys. They won. It is over. As much as people don't want to believe it now, they're going to fight tooth and nail. There probably will still be appeals, but Xbox has got this now. So expect, and probably by at least the end of July, that we're going to get some news that Xbox officially owns Activision Blizzard. So, yeah. All right, I'll bring back to you, Mike.
Oh,
that's
well,
really all I'm going to say.
It has to be in the next 3 days. So if they don't close it in 3 days, then a whole another worm of bullshit is opened up.
True.
But I really just leave this sad. I leave it sad for the industry. I leave it sad for the possible can of worms that this has opened. And I've said for the entire length of this podcast that I do not like the future that we are feels like we're tumbling down, where very few controlling things owns everything. And I just see this as, if Activision can be bought, then anybody can be bought. And I don't want people to be bought. I don't want Activision to be owned by Xbox. I don't want Square Enix to be owned by PlayStation. I don't want Sega to be owned by anybody. I want all these things to maintain their individual rights and create new and exciting things for all of us to play. Now, am I afraid that Call of Duty will go away? No. Do I even care? Because I don't really even play Activision games so much. From a personal level, I don't really care. This doesn't really register with me too much. But I will be. How do I want to phrase this? As a wannabe budding analyst of the industry that we are here, I do think it'd be renounced of us to not at least talk about some of the things that were revealed through this court case. And one of the things that just confuses me on both sides is this just hardcore rallying cry behind this deal. And I don't really see why people want this multi-billion-dollar company to own another multi-billion-dollar company and root for it like it's the end of their days. Like this is their end game. I can't get behind that thought process where you are rallying behind the people for the possibility to control your future in video games. And I don't know, I just can't see that. I do think it's funny, though, that Microsoft's stance worked so well, and their stance was, hey, we're really bad at this. We need Activision to help us. Like, all their testimonies, and you can look into this as deep as you want. I'm not going to dive into it too. I just thought it was funny. Everyone that took to the stand, from Phil Spencer to Brad, what the fuck's his name, they just kept saying over and over and over again, look at how bad we're losing. Look at how bad we are at this. We need Activision to help us. And it's like, that's an odd stance for you to make as a console manufacturer, that you are not good at this and you need a $69 billion company to help you compete. And I can't help but ask the question, maybe just try to be good at it. I don't know. That's an option, I guess. Nintendo and PlayStation are good at it. Sega wasn't good at it, and guess what? They don't make consoles anymore. They just make games, and I don't even think they're really that great at making games. But I don't know, man. I'm torn. I don't want to delve too much into fanboyisms. I don't like the future of the industry that I'm looking down the barrel of. I would have preferred, obviously, that Microsoft not buy any major publisher, but that's what they feel like they need to do as a company to succeed out there. And I guess they have the money to do it. So that's, like Logan said, that's the world we live in, whether you like it or not. I don't love it, but that is the world we live in. Sometimes the person with the biggest checkbook wins out at the end. It's not always the person that's best at doing something. Sometimes you can have more money and be worse at something and win. Which, is it fair? I don't think so. But welcome to consumerism. Not consumerism. Capitalism.
But everyone buys something when they're not good at it. And you may want to say that Xbox is the only one, but literally PlayStation bought Bungie specifically because they fucking suck at making live service games. So, just saying, I know it's not the same when it comes to the amount of money they spent. It's the same thing. Both companies are the same. They both are out for money. If PlayStation had the same checkbook they did, they would do the exact same thing. Whether you believe it or not, they would do the same thing. PlayStation is just as hardcore about buying shit as Xbox is. They just don't have as big of a paycheck or anything to give to these companies. So I think maybe people want to say like, oh, PlayStation never would do this. They would. Any company would do this. Nintendo, they're a little bit more old school, which is fair. They probably wouldn't ever do it. But they still do buy game developers every so often. Like, for example, they bought Bayonetta's developer. They still buy developers. It's not as widely talked about because it's not as big as... What was it? Okay?
Nintendo does not own Platinum Games.
They own the people that made Bayonetta, or
No.
they bought Bayonetta, the property.
No, they own the IP, I think, or they have exclusive rights to the IP. But
Well,
no,
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
I didn't know if they bought the team.
They do not own Platinum.
A specific team, not Platinum. Yeah. I thought Platinum was the publisher.
They're the developer too.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. They bought the IP. You know what I mean. I'm assuming a lot of the team moved over too. I would think. I don't know. I don't know who they brought it to. Whatever. You know what I mean. That maybe was a bad example, but I'm just trying to say that every company is one other than Nintendo. Nintendo's a little, again, as I said, very old school. I think PlayStation, Xbox are the same in that both, where they both would do the exact same thing. I mean, PlayStation may not be buying developers, but they do sure as hell like to buy exclusivity for a long time, or even sometimes forever. So it happens.
I do think it's kind of funny.
Both too bad, and you know what? That's why we shouldn't ever be like, oh, I love this plastic box over this other one. They're both the same. They're both out for making money. It's whatever.
That's what I was saying. Like,
not saying.
I don't understand the rah-rah nature behind this. It's like, I don't understand why people want so heavily for Microsoft to own it. It's like,
it's
why?
fanboys.
Yeah, it's
fanboys so that they can fuel the fire. And there are a lot of, as I would say, cartoonish PlayStation fanboy channels out there that I watch some channels that make fun of them. That literally it's mainly just to fuel the fire. It is what it is. It's just to make clicks, drama. That's how everything is. It's media. That's a whole political thing. It's just how it is. They're trying to get clicks. They're trying to get people riled up. They're trying to cause another console war thing. It is what it is. I will say I much prefer Xbox buying this over
10 cents.
What's those in 10 cent or anything like that.
Yeah.
Thank God it was at least Xbox. Like, I'm not saying Xbox is a perfect company, but I would much prefer them owning it than 10 cent. So
I would prefer nobody owning it, but I don't get my way. So
I mean, yeah. Hopefully, at least Xbox will fix the horrible, shitty allegations of the CEOs and all that owned Activision. I hope that shit gets fixed. So that's one big positive thing that I'm really. It's not even about the games or anything. I hope they can change that company around and maybe, just maybe, pop some original things from that company. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Bobby Kotick is gone. The moment this sale is complete, they're asking him to leave. He is, by the way, the CEO of Activision.
Yeah, I hope he does leave because he's a piece of crap.
Yeah. I do think one information we got. I thought the narrative surrounding Square Enix and what happened with them and Xbox is super funny because for the longest time, people just assume that PlayStation is just not allowing Final Fantasy to come to Xbox anymore, and it's the complete and other opposite. Square Enix went to PlayStation and said, hey, do you want Final Fantasy 16? And they were like, yeah, sure. we'll pay you for it, sure. And also, Xbox went to Square Enix with a proposal, a pretty big proposal, and they were like, no. They just said, fuck you, no.
And yet we're going to get the same fucking line from Square Enix. We didn't sell enough. We didn't sell enough.
We'll see.
I'm just saying Business 101, opening up your game to more things is better than not. And I just think it's funny because they're gonna be like, oh, we only want to do it on PlayStation, but then we're gonna complain that we're not getting enough sales. You got to take one or the other. If you're going to just choose PlayStation, then you got to understand and be realistic about the sales. Not everyone on PlayStation wants Final Fantasy. That's why I just think that's pretty dumb. If I see a fucking news line where they're like, we didn't sell enough, then I'm just going to laugh because it's their own fucking fault. That's all I'm saying.
I do think some of the talk around Final Fantasy sales, for some reason, are people very much care.
I know.
People very much care how this game is doing, and whether you are on it's doing bad or it's doing good on the sales. I've looked at all the numbers and I've done all the math. I think it's actually doing very well for the situation that it's in. Because like if you look at it, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 sold 4.4 million units over PS5, PS4, Xbox X, Xbox One, and PC. Final Fantasy sold 3 on one console. Like, the people who were saying that, it didn't perform as well as 15. I was like, well, yeah, 15 was PlayStation and Xbox, and it had
PC. And if you want to include that, yeah.
And it had a lot of hype behind it too. And I think Final Fantasy 16 is kind of suffering a little bit from the 2-generation long drought of quality Final Fantasy that we've suffered through all the way through 13, 13.2, 13.3. Yes, 14's great, but then you had 15, and that was the span of 2 console generations where Final Fantasy was kind of middling. and now it's returned, so some of those older fans aren't on board. Anyway, I just think that's a dumb argument. Final Fantasy 16 is selling super good in comparison. Whether Square Enix thinks so or not, who the hell knows? Although I'm sure this game costs a lot of money. We found out during all this detail that The Last of Us Part 2 cost about $215 million. This game cost 300, if not a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I am worried about at the industry as a whole. Is just these things are getting way too expensive, man. There has to be some sort of solution where we can cut down on how much these games cost to make. And I think that's a lot of it is on the earnest of the players because we keep demanding perfection. And, you got these fanboys that dig into every aspect, like the stupid fucking Spider-Man puddle controversy. And like developers are
Yeah.
developers are afraid.
Puddlegate is what they called it. Yeah, Puddlegate.
Developers are afraid to have that happen to them. So they're looking at it as like, look, everything has got to be as perfect as we can absolutely make it. And that costs millions and millions and millions of dollars over the course of X amount of years. I mean, fuck, dude. Callisto Protocol costs $165 to make. Why? Why did that game cost almost $200 million? There was no way in hell that game should have cost $200 million.
It's probably because of the freaking dumb thing. When I honestly think games should stop doing this because every time they do this, it always marks it for somewhat of a failure, and that is when they bring celebrities into video games. It never works out. It almost never works out for them. They probably spent so much money to get him to be the main character of that game. Probably as much as a movie, maybe even more. And like that's probably a big part of that budget.
I mean, you
also
look
marketing.
Look at something like Control, and Control cost $50 million to make.
Mm-hmm.
Control is a better game, straight up, than Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
Callisto Protocol. I mean, Callisto Protocol looks absolutely brilliant. It's one of the best looking games we've gotten this generation. Callisto Protocol is gorgeous. There's not a single thing visually wrong with that game. There's a lot wrong gameplay wise with that game, but
yeah.
like, I don't know, man. We have got to find a way as a whole,
I think,
to make things not cost as less, or we're gonna just keep getting stuck in the situation where we're waiting 5 years and games come out and they're just not perfect, and then these developers get drung over the freaking coils by people who have absolutely no clue what they're talking about and how hard it is to do some of this stuff. Like, I miss the days, man, where we got Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 in the span of, 6 years? We got all 3 of those games?
Yeah.
And they're amazing. Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 is fantastic. Uncharted 1 less, but... and now we're waiting 5 years to just play a sequel. We're getting less games. Yes, they are super high quality, but at what cost? Like, I guess is the only thing I'm asking.
I think the biggest thing is mainly that a lot of game engines are kind of falling behind. Because you got to remember, some of these developers like to make an entirely new engine as well, whereas the new Final Fantasy was using a new engine that they have not specified what exactly it is. It's not, obviously, it's not Unreal, and it's not even the same engine as Final Fantasy 15 or Forspoken.
Yeah, the Luminous engine.
And yeah,
there was actually a funny article. CBU 3, Creative Business Unit 3, people who made it. Japanese people, just name your fucking studios.
Yes, it's weird.
Quit calling them business units. That's odd.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, CBU 3 was asked, about the engine, and they are using their own proprietary engine. But they were asked if they ever thought to use the Luminous engine, and they were like, "Nah,
no,
we're not." There was never even a conversation to use that engine that can produce good visuals. I mean, Final Fantasy 15 is a beautiful video game. Somehow looks better than Forspoken, which I don't know how they pulled that off, but congratulations.
Yeah.
You went backwards after 8 years of development time. So cool on you, but yeah.
I think that also is particularly why, and that's why a lot of developers nowadays are switching over to Unreal Engine 5, because they don't have to make another engine to keep pushing forward, where they literally could just, and Unreal Engine 5 is doing a lot of things to make game development technically easier with generating environments, whereas it's not as it doesn't take as much handcrafting as it used to. And that is the biggest problem with a lot of these developers. They're trying to use their own engines, and some of them are getting quite dated, and it takes time to make a brand new engine, a lot of time actually. That's why some of these games take forever to make. And I mean, that's why even GTA probably takes forever to make because they update their engine like every game, it seems like at this point. I mean, look at GTA 5 and then look at Red Dead Redemption 2. They both use the Rage engine. They look entirely different. So it's this constant flow of like updating their engine, and that's the reason why it takes so long. That's why Ubisoft just puts out games like left and right because they use the same fucking engine for like 5 games. They don't take the time to make a new engine for every game. So yeah, that's why I think a lot of game developers are switching over to Unreal Engine 5 because it's an easy way to make what you want, and it looks insanely good. So instead of making their own engines, they could just use that, and they don't have to do the work.
And
So
and like I said, I think some of that earnest has to be on us as the players. And I
but yeah,
know
we always want more.
no
We always want better.
no, what I'm saying is like you're always gonna have your keyboard warriors, your Twitter people who are never gonna they're just gonna say dumb shit to say dumb shit. But like, these developers are in a way forced to make everything as perfect as they can. I mean, look at the whole animation thing behind God of War. That was just a huge thing for no apparent reason. And it's like we as players have to be more receptive and understand what it takes to make these games a little bit more to free up these developers from the scrutiny of the Twitter warriors out there. And again, I know I'm preaching to essentially nobody, but let these guys have some room to breathe.
Yeah, but the thing is about that, a lot of people that do those kind of complaining are the people that don't play the games. So
yeah.
honestly, don't give a shit what they say. Because I think at the end of the day, if the game looks the exact same and it's good, I don't really give a shit. I'm still going to enjoy it. I'm still going to enjoy Spider-Man 2 if it's not a gigantic upgrade compared to Spider-Man 1. I do think they are doing some insanely cool things, but am I going to be like, man, Spider-Man 2 is really bad because it looks the same? No. Honestly, the more I've grown up, I am starting to understand that graphics really aren't everything, and I would much rather a good game that has exciting and fun gameplay than literally have a game that looks ultra realistic with nothing to it. That's kind of the importance that people need to learn. And the people that complain about that shit are the people that don't play games. They just want to make some drama, and it's stupid. I mean, every game that's come out as of lately, for example, Tears of the Kingdom, looked a lot like the first one, right? Guess how many games that sold? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no one fucking cares. I honestly think developers should stop being so harsh on themselves too, because you don't need to always push everything. You don't need to be Naughty Dog. You don't need to be Rockstar. You can kind of calm down. You don't have to make your games the most realistic thing possible. That's why I love Hi-Fi Rush too. Like, they took a weird stance on changing from Evil Within to this weird cartoony game. Yeah, some people complained about it, but guess what? Still did great. And you know what? The people that complained didn't do shit to the game, and that's just how it is. Like, I think people need to stop being so don't care about those people because they don't even freaking play the games. Just play the game yourself, see what you think about it, and guess what? Most of the time you're gonna enjoy it, and you're not even gonna think about it. So yeah.
Yeah. I worry for the industry, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in a good place quality wise. I just feel like everything's gonna keep getting more and more expensive, and I don't know where that's gonna leave us as gamers. So, but all right, let's move it on here a little bit. Logan wanted to talk about a cool thing that Xbox and Antstream are doing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It was just something I actually saw today. So it seems like it says it's a day ago, but I just happened to come across it today. It's kind of cool. It's basically, and this is kind of interesting too. Antstream is like one of the first, I think, other than normal xCloud. This is the first third party cloud service coming to Xbox, which is kind of cool. And I'm happy Xbox is allowing this. I don't like the fact that it's cloud. That's a different story. But it is cool if you're willing to spend a couple bucks to play a bunch of classic games. They're bringing 1,300 plus games. I think it was the exact number was 1,470. Yeah. So 1,470 classic games from a bunch of different consoles, from the SNES to don't know DOS. Oh my God, Linux, Amstrad, NES, NSX. I don't even know what that is. Game Boy, C64, Amiga, and yeah, just straight up arcade. I'm not gonna keep going with this. Basically, a lot of classic games. It's cool if you're willing. If you love classic games, it seems kind of cool. It doesn't have any classic games that I particularly love, but go check it out. You know it. I don't know if they have like a free trial or anything, but they basically it's a streaming service for these classic games that you can get on Xbox, and they have an annual subscription of $29.99, or you can buy the lifetime pass edition, which is $80, and you basically never have to pay anything ever again. So, and I'm guessing they're going to constantly keep adding classic games to it, so that's cool. And it's kind of funny because I've been running into a lot of taglines lately about basically classic games becoming more and more impossible to play. And there's a lot of more games now that are like straight up just becoming unplayable in any way or form. So it was kind of cool to see this pop up. It was a good, very exciting, well, pretty exciting thing to come to Xbox for the people that love to play super old classic games. So I wanted to bring that up. I thought it was cool, especially to bring some light to the people that may believe that classic games will never be able to be played again. Here's a way to play it. Do I like how you can play it? No, I don't. I hate Cloud. But for the people that do or don't give a crap, that's a cool little bonus if you would like to spend $80 for classic games. Yeah.
Also, a PSA out there. I just entered for a chance to win the ugliest console ever created, the limited edition Xbox Porsche console. You can do that over at IGN.com. I just entered for a chance to win. So let's hope I win the ugliest console ever developed. So I fucking hate that thing.
I want to see it.
It's so gross. So. All right, well, let's keep it moving. We got two more really cool stories or interesting stories about the gaming media, and then we move into a whole bunch of non sequitur stuff, but whatever. So, Mr. Neil Druckmann, one of the co-presidents of Naughty Dog, speaking of the demons themselves, now sits alone at the top of the hierarchy because the other co-president, Mr. Evan Wells, has announced his retirement. It says, reading from the article, Naughty Dog co-president Evan Wells is retiring at the end of the year, leaving Neil Druckmann to fully take the reins of one of PlayStation's best-known studios. In a message published on Naughty Dog's official site, Wells talked about his 30-year career in games and praised Druckmann, saying that he's incredibly confident that he's leaving the studio in the best of hands. From the man himself, says, quote, "This is something that I've been discussing with Naughty Dog studio leadership for well over a year, and with Neil for even longer than that. This decision brings with it overwhelming and conflicting emotions, but I've come to realize that I'm content with my time at the studio and all that we've accomplished together over the last 25 years. I couldn't be more confident in Neil's ability to carry on running the studio. It's the right time for me to provide the opportunity for him and the others on the studio leadership team to steer the studio into a successful future." Mr. Druckmann responded and said, quote, "Sad to see my boss, mentor, partner, friend leave, but I'm happy for him to enjoy a well-earned retirement. Evan, your unmatched legacy will forever be part of Naughty Dog." End quote. So I just want to take this time to say thank you, Mr. Evan Wells. You have given me some of my favorite gaming experiences of all time in the history, my long, long history of playing video games, and you're going to be missed. You're definitely loved, at least on this end of the XP podcast, and I guess just thank you. You gave me The Last of Us and Uncharted. I couldn't live without you, Mr. Birdman.
I don't really have much to say about this other than Neil Druckmann's a little bit of a. I don't know how much faith I have in him. Because I know technically he was a part of Last of Us 1, but he wasn't the sole person, and he was the sole person for Last of Us Part 2. Not a fan of it. Also, he was a big part of the show of Last of Us on HBO. Not the greatest. So, I'm a little worried, to say the least. I don't think he's the most greatest at being creative, or he does some very weird things. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe that, I didn't think the show was that bad, but Last of Us Part 2 wasn't great. But hey, we're going to be talking about that real soon, actually. So, But yeah, it is what it is. We'll see how it goes from here.
I was just looking up. He was actually one of 3 directors in The Last of Us Part 2. The 3 people that directed The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
So not Neil Druckmann alone. Multiple people.
Well, was he not the main?
Well, yeah, he's always going to be the main. He's the co-president of the studio, but
No, I meant like in Last of Us Part 1, I don't think he was the main person. Like, I know he was a part of it, he helped write it, but he wasn't the main man directing
yeah,
the whole game.
He was.
But let's go on to the next story.
I'm just saying he was. Trust me. I trust the man with my life. I think he's never made a bad game. But yeah, he was the director of The Last of Us, Last of Us Left Behind, Uncharted 4, Uncharted The Lost Legacy, and well, no, sorry, not Uncharted Lost Legacy, and The Last of Us Part 2. He's a creative director on all of them. So sorry, Logan. We're having a pause in the episode because Logan's talking about something.
Okay, keep going. No, we just keep going.
All right. Well, speaking of The Last of Us Part 2, thanks to the composer, Mr. Gustavo Santaolalla. I definitely said that wrong. But he has hinted at that there could be a Last of Us Part 2 remaster coming to a PlayStation 5 near you. I'm not going to go too deep into what he said here, but pretty much that it could be happening. So what do you think? You excited about Last of Us Part 2 coming to PS5 finally?
No.
Well,
Absolutely not.
That's because you don't like good video games, Logan.
No, I just don't care for Abby. I think she's a horrible character, but
I could not.
It's okay.
I could not disagree on a more molecular level with that take.
Yeah. But it already did technically get brought over. I mean, I don't know if this really needs a remaster because they updated it to 60 and it still looks very good by itself. So
I mean, I'm sure they'll
I guess they're trying to make another quick buck off this because unless they do the director's cut thing that they are saying on here, which could be interesting, but we'll see if that's true or not, or if it's just a new port of Last of Us 2.
I mean, if it is exactly what's being rumored here, it is like a director's cut with added content and different scenes and things changed around, so to make a already long game longer.
Yeah.
But will I replay it? No.
Yeah.
Because I already have my experience 2 times, so I'm not going to replay it again. I'm in a weird part with Naughty Dog because I want them to do something different, but they're at the point now that it would be financially really dumb of them not to make part 3. Like, they would make...
I mean, just finish it off, you know?
Yeah.
Just get it done.
I don't think it needs a finish. Everyone's out there saying, I've heard so many people say, well, you made the second one, so now you have to make the third one. I'm like, why? I think the second one. I mean,
they already should have ended it after the first one, but they still made a second one.
Yeah.
I mean, did they need to be told? No.
I mean, I think it's a phenomenal story, so.
I think a lot of people disagree, but also a lot of people do agree. So it's a little bit
It's a very divisive game.
Yeah, I particularly did not enjoy it. I love the first one after finally playing it last year. I really, really enjoyed it. Second one, I do not like Abby. I think she's fucking annoying. And I think maybe it's just the way that they set up the story just makes me not really care. I don't give a shit about her. She's just the person that killed the character that I really enjoyed in the first one. It's not that she killed him. It's just that, like, why the fuck would I want to play as her? I don't give a shit what her motives are. I don't care about her dad. I don't care about any of that. The Fireflies were stupid as shit in the first game. They kind of deserved to die. Learn that even from the show. They're really dumb in there too. I don't really give a shit. Like, I don't care about any of that. I don't care how good of a man he was. He was willing to kill a kid just for the chance to make a vaccine, which the chances of him actually making a vaccine after that were probably slim to none with the amount of stuff they had. So I don't care about Abby. That's a whole different subject. Sorry, I'm going way off topic. I just don't care for her, okay? I don't give a shit. I like Ellie. I think Ellie's part of the story is very good. When you switch to Abby for the second half of the game, I checked out. I was like, I tried. I tried to keep playing, but I'm like, I'm getting bored. I don't care about her. I don't care anything she says out of her mouth. If anything, I try to kill her as many times as I can because I think she's stupid and dumb, and I don't like her. So I just don't want to play as her. I wish you could actually have an option where we don't have to play as her. We could just skip it. Skip that whole half the game. I'd be much more happy with the game.
See, to me, that's just so weird because like the moment that big moment happens, I immediately wanted to know why, and I immediately wanted to know what happened to make her do that. And I don't really know where that feeling comes from, but I think the motivation that they set up, I honestly think it's absolutely brilliant, and it's not where I thought the story was going from, and that's what I think a lot of people cannot separate their own expectations for what was going to happen versus what actually transpired, and that happens a lot in film and TV and movies, and it's something didn't happen that I wanted to happen, therefore that makes it bad, and I will never ever get behind that. I'm not saying you think that, by the way,
No,
but there are a lot of people out there
as much
think
as I'm
that.
talking crap about this game, I do want to give it all the props in the world. That it is a very beautiful game with combat that is so much. They definitely have upgraded quite a bit since the first one. I think the music's fantastic. And most of the characters I did really enjoy. It's just I don't care about Abby, and that's the part that really made me just. I really liked Ellie's parts actually quite a bit. I was really enjoying it when I was playing as Ellie, but as soon as I switched over to Abby, I'm like, I don't care, and that's where I got bored because I don't care about her. Nothing you do will change my mind about that. I just don't like her. I understand we need to get an understanding of why she did it, but that doesn't mean that like I want to play as what technically in my eyes is the villain of the story. Not saying that Joel was a good guy. He is a bad guy. No one technically is a hero. But I played as Joel. I have a bigger connection with him than I do Abby. It's like me playing Master Chief and then a freaking elite kills him. So you're playing as Arbiter trying to find this other elite, but no. Halfway through the game, you switch to the other elite, and then the other elite's like, he killed my dad. So that's why. So you get to see me connect with all these characters I get to kill throughout the game and act like, oh, feel sorry for me. I don't care. I don't care. I like Master Chief. He's the main man I played in the first game. Why would I want to play someone that killed him? I don't care why you killed him. Well, no, I do care why. I do want to know why. But I don't care who you are. I don't care. I'd actually rather you be dead because I have more of a motive to kill you than I have to care about you. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's just a difference of viewpoint because, like I said, I view Joel as the ultimate villain in the story of The Last of Us, so that's just how I've always viewed him.
I mean, no one's a hero in that story.
That's true, but
the
like,
truth of it.
It is his decision that essentially dooms the entire world and humanity to failure.
I honestly just disagree because I think fireflies are fucking stupid, and you see that throughout all the game.
Yes.
With every area you go to, they are the most stupid people I've ever seen, where they always do something really dumb that ends up getting them all killed. Do you really believe after they would do that they would be able to successfully get a vaccine out to people? They can barely organize as they are. Trying to make a mass vaccine to save the world, bullshit. They would not be able to do it as much as people would believe it. I kind of do wish though we would get, but I bet you they would be like, oh, but it actually works out. They actually do it. No, there's no way. There's no way throughout the entire story you could truly believe that they could do it. I don't think they could.
But then again,
the entire time I'm like, man, these people are dumb.
You're inferring what you think could happen and not based off what the game and the story tells you can happen. Because in the game, it tells you this is going to work. They have all the information. They have the technology. They can do it. So you're kind of putting your own inference.
Mass produce it?
Huh?
How could they mass produce it? Did they show how they can mass produce it? Because they're trying to make a vaccine to save the world. Well, in order to save the world, you're going to need to make a lot of vaccines.
I mean,
so
they have
how
a
do you
whole
mass produce
operational
it?
hospital, so
barely
Yes.
running off of generators.
Well, yeah,
How do you mass
you're in the
produce that?
apocalypse. There's not an actual energy
That's what
source.
I'm saying. This isn't like a government. This is a small ragtag group of what are kind of terrorists in some ways. That literally you're expecting these people to successfully do this whole thing. Which, by the way, this dude was an animal doctor, right? And yeah, he's going to successfully get this specific thing out of a human with no previous knowledge of other humans other than probably reading books and doing some studying, and he is going to get the vaccine out of her and make mass amount of them and somehow not getting themselves killed by leaving the hospital because they could barely even survive to the point they got to the hospital. Do you think they're going to be able to successfully travel and give these vaccines out to people? No, I highly doubt that. Like highly doubt it. They had to get a psychopath to get this child all the way across the country. One man.
To be
Joel
fair,
is more of a capable man than they are.
that wasn't the original plan. It just so happens that
True.
everybody died.
But the fact that they had to go to that point shows how unorganized they are and how dumb they are. So yes,
We just see things differently.
That's fair. But that's what's fascinating about it, because you could take it however you want. And so for me, I think they're dumb. For you, you believed in them. And that's fair. And that's what's so fascinating about the Last of Us story, is just you kind of have to take whoever you think is the hero of the situation in your own point of the view. Or in your, yeah, God, I'm getting lightheaded.
David is the hero of the story.
Yes. Oh,
God.
God.
David,
dude, he's
David could mass produce it. He would figure out a way.
better than him. I can definitely tell you, Abby's better than him for sure.
David could have that shit figured out in a weekend.
Oh God,
he's like House, man. He'll pop a Vicodin, not a Vicodin. That's a boner medicine. He'll pop a that's Viagra. It's Vicodin, yeah. I don't know. He pops a Viagra. He pops a Viagra and has that shit figured out. Who the hell knows? But different perspectives. I love The Last of Us Part 2. I think it's bloody brilliant. Why did I just say bloody? I'm not British.
Bloody brilliant.
That's a bloody brilliant, man. Also, speaking of British, why do they not believe in vowels? They say water. What's so hard about saying water? You just skip over the vowels. You lazy
crackers,
fucks.
Right? Isn't that what they call them? Like cookies, crackers.
Yeah, and also like the biscuits.
That's so weird.
The biscuits.
Biscuits. That's the thing.
Yeah, like a cracker.
Yeah. What?
That's a biscuit.
Then what is a biscuit over there? Is it a roll?
You fucking weirdos over there.
Have you ever watched the video on YouTube about a bunch of
kids
British
trying,
kids? Yeah, and they're like, "This is great. This is fantastic."
Yeah, they tried biscuits and gravy. Yeah.
Yeah. They also tried the fried chicken. They're like, "Oh my God, what is this?" Their minds were blown when they tried the fried chicken. They're like, "Dude, this is amazing."
Go get a bottle of water. You fucking illiterates. Say vowels, damn it. All right, let's move on to the next story. We've been on this for probably too long, but
yeah, we got a little off track.
I love Naughty Dog.
It's fascinating. So. I like talking about these things.
All right. Our last interesting or cool story is a new game has been announced from the great, and totally not worrisome development studio over at EA. They have announced a new Black Panther game is in development behind, from some of the minds behind the Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. It says, EA has confirmed the heavily rumored Black Panther game, although it failed to mention a release window, obviously. The single-player action-adventure game based off Marvel's Black Panther is in development at new Seattle-based EA studio called Cliffhanger Games. EA obviously did not release any screenshots or video of this Black Panther game, but did say it's an original third-person, single-player adventure developed in partnership with Marvel Games. The project is led by Kevin Stevens, who was on Monolith Production Studios' head during development of the Shadow of Mordor franchise. EA said others who worked on Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, along with veterans of Halo Infinite, God of War, and Call of Duty, are already part of the Cliffhanger Games. Quote, "We are dedicated to delivering fans a definitive and authentic Black Panther experience, giving them more agency and control over their narrative than they have ever experienced in a story-driven game before." Wakanda is a rich superhero sandbox, and our mission is to develop a epic world for players who love Black Panther and want to explore the world of Wakanda as much as we do. End quote. So, do you believe they can pull it off?
We'll see. I really don't know. I like Shadow of Mordor, at least the first one. Shadow War was okay. I think
Yeah.
they had some interesting things, but I think they could do it. Yes. Yeah.
What do you think about this? It sounds obviously it's a third-person action-adventure game, but they say more control over the narrative. So, like a kind of decision-based, narrative decision-based third-person action-adventure. What I love about this is there's not a single mention of open world, which I absolutely adore that. But it's probably going to be open world at some point in time because every single game that's ever come out has some sort of open world aspect to it. But yeah, I'm excited. This is, it's technically the second because we have Amy Hennig's game, who has, Captain America and Black Panther. But interesting. I don't know. I'm excited. I love Black Panther. I love his movies. I like kind of the idea of his character, and this could be really awesome. But also, there's a lot of other superheroes that could probably. Can we get a fucking oh my god, I just forgot the name. Daredevil game. Can we get a fucking Daredevil game?
Oh, dude, Daredevil game. Ooh, that would be sick. There would have to be, in my opinion, it needs to be like immature though, because that would make it like. Because he's a little bit more
immature.
Brutal.
Oh, I thought you said
mature.
I thought you said
that's what
immature.
I meant. That's what
I was like,
I did say im and
that?
then mature. I should have said im for mature. Yeah.
I thought you meant
think
immature.
that would. Dude, a freaking Daredevil game would be sick. That would be awesome.
Ever since I experienced the Arkham combat, I'm like, yo, this would sing in a Daredevil game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're probably never gonna get that.
Oh, it'd be cool too, because like they could have a bunch of other people show up throughout it. Like they could have Luke Cage maybe show up at some point. They have Elektra. It could just be like the Netflix thing where a bunch of like people from the New York Hell's Kitchen area show up. That'd be cool. Maybe even Spider-Man. Screw it. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make like a Marvel video game universe.
Which is cool.
If you're Spider-Mans, you have obviously your Wolverine coming. Now you got Black Panther. We need a Captain America game, which we're getting half of a Captain America game pretty much. We'll see with that Amy Hennig game. I have faith in her. But yes, some crossover and all that would be interesting, but that sounds like some red tape to try to get through that, man. Try to get Sony Spider-Man to show up in the Black Panther game. Whew, that sounds like a rough meeting to deal with that.
I'm more excited for the Iron Man game because I don't know, I like Iron Man quite a bit, and I think it'd be really badass to have a nice like open world in a sense, kind of like Just Cause, and that you could fly around in the Iron Man suit with like honestly like the Anthem kind of flying style. That's sick, and that has me more excited than this.
Speaking of Just Cause,
Black Panther isn't my favorite hero. I think he's cool, but it's not something that really excites me that much.
Speaking of Just Cause, did you see the new Gamers documentary about Just Cause?
I did not know.
It's pretty good. I like that channel a lot. It's one of the few YouTube channels that I continually watch all the time. So, all right, well, let's hope that this new third-person, single-player, action-adventure, narrative-driven game, which is literally like, if there was a way to describe a game to get me excited, it's that right. It's that line right there. I'm in. Let's go. Let's hope they nail it. Like I said, I've had more and more faith in EA as we've gone through the years ever since Battlefront 2. That was like their low point, and ever since then, I'm like, all right, you guys aren't the worst ever. Ubisoft is now, so there's our weekly. There's our weekly dig. I gotta get it in. All right, I think you invited. Now I got a freaking gnat flying around. I think you invited bugs around my house.
Yeah,
man.
I told them to go to your house because I'm like, dude, I can't stand it anymore. Go on over there.
You bitch. All right, our next story.
Mosquitoes. Oh god.
Next story one. Dude, mosquitoes suck down here. It's all.
Oh my god, I hate them.
Fucking terrible.
They could just be wiped off the earth at this point.
This one, very interesting. Apparently, bear sex is very popular because Baldur's Gate 3 has shot up the Steam charts after the information about the now infamous in-game activity has leaked and was shown off early last week. It said last week, Baldur's Gate 3 Showcase propelled the fantasy role-playing game up the Steam top seller list. The panel from L live stream revealed players can have sex with a druid in bear form. Clips of the cutscene went viral on social media and even caused TikTok to pull the showcase halfway through, which is hysterical. The druid in question is called Halsin, an NPC and potential companion who can be rescued from a prison. Halsin can temporarily wild shape into a bear, and if you play your cards right, he does this during a romance scene. You can see it in the tweet below by this person who says immediately Baldur's Gate 3 is a 10 out of 10. Bear sex indeed. So yeah, this is a story that I wanted to throw in because after our conversation last week, obviously it was spurred on by the bear sex, but you kind of talked about this and I started looking into it and fuck me, man, this game looks good as shit.
I know. I'm telling you, like
This game looks so ridiculous.
and the more I watch videos on it, I'm like, they have a lot that they're trying to go for in this game. And if they can pull it off, this could be the best RPG game of all time. Western RPG.
I was going to ask, do you think this can out RPG Starfield?
Maybe.
I think it
Actually, yes, because the amount of shit, like, dude, there's shit up saying, like, you can literally do stuff throughout the game and they'll write stuff in the newspaper, but you can break into the newspaper thing and change the stories and make them what you want. Or you can go to prison, but you're not just like in prison for a little bit. No, you're in prison. You have to break out of prison or be there for a certain amount of days. Or when you have friends, your friends can keep playing on the outside and break you out of that prison, break into the prison and get you out. Like, this shit is insane. The amount of stuff that you can do and the amount of customization and the amount of things you can, the romance options are freaking insane. I mean, as we said, there's bear sex, which they're getting, they're slightly passing that bestiality thing by literally being like, well, it's not technically a bear, it's a druid.
They're really tugging the line there, but
yeah, but dude, that's. They're going, as you can say, hard into this game when it comes to its relationship. Hey, so yeah, this game looks good, man. It's been on my radar for a while now. Like I watched a couple of things of gameplay on it, and it looks awesome. And it's supposed to be quite a long game, and there's a lot of different choices and a lot of different ways you can get through it. And I don't know, just looks fun.
Yeah, and I think it kind of invites replay ability with its like skill check system and all that, where obviously you roll the dice just like in D&D, and if you don't pass it, the game just keeps on moving. It doesn't stop anything. So that invites a huge amount of replay ability, because you can kind of be prepared on your second or third playthrough for the different skill checks that come up, and you know about them, so you can kind of tune your player or whatever in your skills to pass all those, and you can really like shoot for that perfect run where you pass everything and you get like the full-fledged story. And yeah, man, like I said, I've been watching quite a few videos. I watched some people play the early access or open beta, whatever it's in, I don't know. But I was like, damn, am I gonna play this game? Because like it wasn't really on my radar that much at all. And then I guess technically bear sex got me in. Like a lot of people out there did. This fucking thing keeps popping up on IGN about the stupid Xbox intro thing. I'm like, I'm already there. Quit showing me. But
yeah, I'm just very impressed with it, and they are really doing something insane with this game. And if they can actually pull off everything they've said, again, this could be the best RPG, Western RPG to be specific, out there. And that is insane feat for the kind of studio they are, and they could honestly be a CD Projekt Red here, where they had The Witcher 3 come out, it blew everybody's mind. This could be that, and that really excites me. And I played Divinity Original Sin 2 quite a bit. I actually played it with Amy the other day, and it's really, really fun. But dude, this game, it's just like on a whole nother level of like just role play, where literally you could pretty much almost do anything you want, and that has me very excited.
Well, that's what I don't actually think we should be surprised, and this is kind of on earnest of myself. Like I should have been more posturous about this stance, but like it's Larian. Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2 are some of the best role-playing games ever made. And I don't know why it was surpassing me that, yes, they are making this game. Uh, I don't know how and where I missed that, not like nugget. I knew it, but it wasn't like registering really until I started looking into it. And I was like, oh no, these guys are some of the best out there at making these types of games. I don't know why, like I said, it went over my head that they were making this game. So I honestly don't think we should be surprised at all if this game comes out and it sits in the 90s on OpenCritic.
Yeah, and it really sucks because we can't put it on there because it's freaking early access.
By the way,
It's just me. I was going to try to put this on my list like at the beginning of this year. I was already very pumped for it, and I couldn't because it's early access.
That is a rule that I was gonna float out to. Obviously, not this year. I'm not changing any rules mid-year. I was gonna float the rule next year if we wanted to put that into the.
Yes, I think we should
game.
because there's a lot of games that do that. Like for example, last year I probably could have gotten reviews on whatever it's fucking called. I already forgot it. Dune, Spice Wars, and then also same thing for DJ. He could have gotten probably some stuff for Sons of the Forest.
Well, the only problem with that is the reviews aren't out yet because it hasn't been officially released. But this is one of those situations where the game is going to be released this year. We just can't add it to our list because of that rules that I have set in place. So that was something I was going to float to the guys. I just forgot to ask people this week, but we can float that to them. It's a rule change that I want to see. It just does kind of open up the worms a little bit. Like, game comes out in early access. You can wait to see if it's good. So you kind of already have an idea if it's good. That's kind of what I was trying to avoid with that. That's why I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I don't allow like DLC or anything to come in because like you already have an idea of like the baseline quality of the game. And
yeah,
I was trying to avoid that. So I'll forward it to the guys. And if it's universal, then obviously we'll do it. So, but yes, Baldur's Gate 3 looks awesome. And I do think it has a very high chance to out RPG Starfield. Won't outsell
and the fact
it,
that this game is going to be co-op and not only just online co-op, but split screen co-op. Again, I know Divinity Original Sin and Divinity Original Sin 2 did that, but it's just impressive to me that you could do that. And especially for how crazy this RPG is and the amount of things you could do, the fact that it's like that is just, I don't know, it just brings me back to my childhood. It's super cool. I love split screen co-op. I love playing with people. Like, we could sit down on the couch and just play the game. And this game seems perfect for that because there's a lot going on. And I'm very excited for this game. I've been very excited for it because it's D&D, the story, and it has a lot of D&D elements. Especially, I love the dice roll mechanic. It just, I don't know, it's pretty much, I think this is the closest we've ever gotten to a true D&D experience in a video game. Like, this is going to be the best. So,
I don't want it to be overstated that you and I know each other fairly well. We've been friends for quite a while now. I want to know what in your childhood, historically, brings bear sex back into it. That's the question I want to put to you.
That part, not that part. That's I can't really think of many moments where that happened, but
I was just curious. You said it brings you back to your childhood, and I was like,
"That's true. That's true."
Logan's been through some shit, or maybe he's done some shit.
Well, if it's a druid, it's not a bear.
Let's not put that into the world. Logan has never and will never engage in bestiality.
No.
I guess at least I hope so. So, all right.
I hope
next
so too.
story is, guys, I had to talk to you for a second. If you think Assassin's Creed has been overdone in the past 2 decades, a decade and a half. Oh my God, it's only been 16 years since the first Assassin's Creed came out. Holy fucking shit. All right. Anyway,
that's insane.
If you think, I mean, 16 years is a lot, but it's not a lot when you think about how many games. Anyway, guys, if you think we've gotten too much, we're getting more, folks. Like I said, Assassin's Creed Mirage will come out in October, and if rumors are to be believed, and if the people working over there are to be believed, the next Assassin's Creed will be next year. So, looks like it's returning to its yearly release cycle. After, you know what's funny? We haven't had a proper Assassin's Creed game in 3 years, and it doesn't feel like that. It feels like we've never stopped getting them, you know?
Oh, I know.
Like, we haven't had Assassin's Creed since Valhalla came out, and that was the launch of the PS5, 2020. But it feels like we never stopped getting them. I don't know where that feeling comes, because I just played so many of them for so long.
Well, they kept releasing DLCs, though, that entire time. So they never stopped.
It was like a
It wasn't
fake
like they
break.
released a game and then it just took 3 years. No, they just like technically they never stopped making Assassin's Creed games. They just made these big DLCs for Valhalla. So I don't know, man. Like I'm very curious to see this game, but also, man, they have a high bar to pass with this game. They have Ghost of Tsushima to compete against.
Yeah.
And at that point, if they can't do that, why the hell would people want to go buy this? Like, they got a lot.
What's
I'm
funny
not really that
is
excited because, man, Ghost of Tsushima is basically the best Assassin's Creed game we've had in a while, in my opinion, because it's so good. I love Ghost of Tsushima.
what's funny is it's very conceivable that this game may be pretty darn close to Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, we're going on 4 years now by the time 2024 comes around that Ghost of Tsushima came out, and it's very conceivable that would be a baller move by PlayStation. Just like, hey, we're also going to release Ghost of Tsushima 2 weeks after Assassin's Creed comes out. That would suck. That'd be funny as hell, though. But anyway, the story goes, as reported by Eurogamer, Access the Animus shared a screenshot of a LinkedIn post on Twitter from a Ubisoft marketing employee seeking sponsoring partners for Assassin's Creed Codename Red, in which the game was described as the biggest blockbuster for 2024. The post is this. It looks like a few months ago, the business development and brand partnership teams at Ubisoft were looking for sponsorship partners for Assassin's Creed Codename Red in 2024, which could act as partial confirmation of the game actually being planned for 2024 release date at the moment. But what would even be funnier, right, is if this game gets delayed and then goes head-to-head in 2025 with Ghost of Tsushima 2. Which I still don't know how the hell they're going to pull off a Ghost of Tsushima 2, but I'm excited nonetheless.
I wouldn't even be upset if it is in the Ghost of Tsushima 2. Like, I don't think
Just
they
sucker
need
punch
to make a
next gen,
sequel, but I also understand that they probably want to make something. They can make something reminiscent of it. I don't think they have to leave that kind of vibe, but they also shouldn't. I don't think there's really much they could do to continue the story. Like, I feel like that was a beginning to end story.
Yeah, it was very
And I
complete.
don't know. Yeah, so showing more wouldn't really work for me. And if they want, they still can keep what they built here, which I hope they would, and they can make something different. Maybe in a different, I don't know, country. You know, just be something different. Because I love Ghost of Tsushima. I don't think it needs a sequel. But I'm more excited for Sucker Punch games ever since that game. Because that game is still insanely good. I love Ghost of Tsushima.
That's what I said when I first beat Ghost of Tsushima. I'm like, they just out Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
You know? They did it way better than, honestly, any of them. Especially the open world ones.
Oh my god, yeah.
I still love Assassin's Creed 2, 4, 3s, whatever. But, I mean, I think I would be laughed at if I said, Assassin's Creed 4 is better than Ghost of Tsushima. It's not. It's not a better game.
I think they're different in many ways in that
they're
fact.
different.
But yeah. But if I had to compare this to Valhalla, which is their newest Assassin's Creed, oh my god, it's not even a competition.
It's night and day.
Ghost of Tsushima is so much better than that. It's so much better than even Odyssey. It's even better than probably even Origins, in my opinion. I just think it's just so much. It has so much. I don't know, like the way that they artistically design the world of Ghost of Tsushima is just breathtaking. Like I think that game is still the biggest surprise for me because I wasn't as hyped as everyone else until like the last like week or so before it came out. I finally caught up and looked at it and I'm like, okay, I'll pre-order this, and I was not disappointed. And I love that game to this day.
It is fantastic. All right. Next up. What the heck is this? I think I forgot to delete something on the yeah, I definitely did. Shows the Annapurna showcase though. I was like, we talked about that last week. Anyway, Final Fantasy 16 may in fact be getting DLC after all, if Mr. Yoshi P is to be believed. If you didn't know, when this game was coming out, they talked in length. In length? What the hell does that mean? In depth about how this is a complete front to back story. Very different than Final Fantasy 15 was. Final Fantasy 15 was a story that you needed 18 different sources to figure out what the hell is going on. But with the recent success of Final Fantasy 16 and almost blanketed praise from the game. Not perfect, but it may be DLC coming. I have not set the story up well at all. There may be DLC coming after all. Mr. Yoshi said, as you know, going into Final Fantasy 16, the one thing we wanted to do is create a full, complete story. Something you can enjoy from beginning to end 100% without any DLC. And I think we were able to do that, he says. But now, we understand that we're getting feedback from players that have played the game, and a lot of players want to see more, and we know that and understand that. For us, we're taking that and then thinking about our options moving forward. So hopefully in the near future, we can have something that we can give all of you to enjoy. So we'll see, I guess. It's not really a lot to delve in and talk about, but I guess I wanted to let our audience know that this was happening. I think everyone's pretty confident in my fandom of Final Fantasy at this point. So, am I excited about DLC? I don't know. Because it definitely doesn't sound like...
We all know your take on it.
Well, we all know, I mean, it's clear that this is not in production yet. Or maybe it's in the very beginning stages of production. And this is going to be one of them things that, I mean, what, does this come out in 2 years? Again, I think Horizon Forbidden West is an immaculate video game. I never even finished the DLC for it. I never even finished Burning Shores. I don't like when DLC comes out that's like, speaking of that, when the hell is Elden Ring DLC ever going to come out? We haven't heard shit about that in forever.
It's a good question.
That's going to be...
probably the end of this year. Probably November.
Oh my god, if it came out that would... Dude, this is the craziest year of all time in video games, dude. This year is ridiculous.
And if it comes out in September, I'm going to be really put out because I'm like, are you serious right now? You are making me have to compete with my own self of being like, do I want to play Starfield or do I want to play the new DLC of Elden Ring? Dude, don't you dare do that. Please, Elden Ring, do not release your DLC in September. Release it in not even October. Please release it in like November because I'll have time to play Starfield, Spider-Man, and then I can play Elden Ring DLC. Please.
I will say, please. Square Enix and Mr. Yoshi P, if you can get this out by next year, that'd be great. I don't foresee how that could even happen, but if you can, that'd be awesome. If it's anything later than that, I don't want it, but I'll try to play when it comes back out. I don't know, man. It's just such a combat system that you have to be in it. You have to be involved in it. Like, every single time I boot up the game, my first combat encounter that I do is very, very rough. I'm not in the flow yet. It's a very flowy combat system. Like, you got to be in the momentum of hitting all the buttons you need hitting, which is an incredible amount of buttons you need to hit to be like super effective at this combat system. So we'll see. All right. Moving on. We're getting close here. Logan did want to throw in this one thing, pretty cool story. I did not see this one coming, kind of blew away. Last of Us has been announced coming to Nintendo Switch. Wild story.
That's
released. Right. It's released on Nintendo Switch. So those of you out there, you can play one of the most seminal games in the past decade of video games now on your Nintendo Switch. I am obviously fucking with all of you. It is not The Last of Us. It's this bullshit game called The Last Hope. And I think this has really gotten out a story out there about store cultivation. And Nintendo, I do like you. I don't love you, Nintendo. But how do you let this game come to your store?
Yeah, it's so blatantly copying Last of Us. It's honestly insane. And it's even worse when you notice that like most of the things they try to make look like Last of Us. But I don't remember the name of this daughter that you find.
Eva.
Eva. Okay. Damn. I'm surprised you remember that.
I paid attention to this game. I wanted to see what this hell this thing was.
So, by the way, what we have linked on this, which I'm sure will be posted with a video, go watch it. It's Digital Foundry's video on it, which I love that they reviewed this. It's actually hilarious. But they literally just took Ellie's model, downgraded it a lot, and then just shoved it in this game.
Because it is literally
one for one. I'm pretty sure is just Ellie. They just downgraded it a lot. Like, as literally the main character doesn't look anything like Joel, but Ellie looks pretty much the same. Other than obviously it's super downgraded, and this game is awful. It's hilarious. I just wanted to throw a story in there. If you guys want to go check it out, go check it out. Especially the video I linked below. Go check it out. It's just hilarious. It's super dumb. It's a really shitty game. I think the game you could beat it in like 4 hours or something like that.
No,
And no?
15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, 50. Oh my God. That's rough. And I think it's like $1 or something like that. I don't remember how much they charge for the game.
Dude, credit to Digital Foundry. This game is incredibly broken. They did the math
my
on the
God,
amount
yeah.
of bullets they give you, and it's just simply not enough to even finish the game.
Yeah.
And look,
And like also like the stamina, you don't just regen. You had to get MREs, and there's only like 2 of them in the game. I think they said like, what the fuck, dude? Like they couldn't even make a game properly. Like at least just make a basic ass game. Make a. I don't think it's that hard to program a stamina bar that goes up by itself. And yeah, it's awful. Go again. I recommend people go check this out. Don't buy it, please. Don't buy it, but go watch it. It's hilarious. This really made me laugh this week because it was a fantastic video from Digital Foundry.
but it does spark a conversation about cultivation in online stores. And this was
Yeah,
something that PlayStation actually addressed last year. And there was an epidemic of like $1 to $2 just like
yeah,
play me for 1 second and get a platinum games. And there was all kinds of these crappy ones. And credit to PlayStation, they went out and while you can still go search for those games, they're still on the store, but they no longer advertised them. They removed it from anybody's recommended. You have to take it upon yourself to go find them. Would I rather prefer Sony not take the checkbook and just not put these games in the store? Yeah, but like we talked about at the top of this around the point, money's money to these people. They don't care where it comes from. So,
yeah. And Switch is like really bad
Switch
about
is
this. Like,
significantly worse than
go
PSN.
go look up this. Go to the store and go to Great Deals. And literally, there's all these companies that specifically say they're discounting their games to $1, and they automatically go up to Great Deals, and a bunch of people buy them because they always think like, oh man, it's only $1, and that's because that's probably the actual price, and they're making money off of it, and they're making basically just shitty cash grab games that they just use like reuse assets and stuff. And it's the same for Steam. Steam is really bad about it too. They've been known to be bad about it, but it just is what it is. But it is bad. It especially tricking people into these. Like people probably think like, man, there's a lot of shitty games on here, and it kind of covers up actual good games too, which is a problem in a sense because like some of these great deals will show what you people will think those are great deals, but they're not. And it's covering up actual good games that people would probably should go buy. So yeah,
Yeah, it's like an epidemic, pretty much, man.
yeah.
It's the online COVID.
Oh
It's just
my
everywhere.
God.
But yeah, it is to the it's the responsibility of the people putting these stores on. So it's the responsibility of Nintendo, PlayStation, Steam, Xbox, all these people to cultivate these stores to get the best experience for the players and not screw the players over. And like I said, credit to PlayStation, they did go out and fix that. Fix their stuff. At least the viewability of it in a way. We already talked about the Xbox Game Pass games last week.
I forgot.
Yeah, it's cool.
I forgot. It was my bad.
It's just they just announced the extra premium tiers. Okay, well, since we've already moved on to the next story, you guys are probably very confused out there. But PlayStation has announced the extras and premium games for July of 2023, and it's pretty consistent so far these past couple weeks. So anyway, the games you can play coming up this month on your extra or premium tiers, like we've always say, the extra tier is where it's at, but the premium tier is slowly getting there. It's slowly getting better. So this week on extra tier, you can download and play It Takes Two, Sniper Elite 5, SnowRunner, World War Z, The Ascent, Undertale, SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, Melty Blood, Type Lumina, Dismantle, Circus Electric, Dynasty Warriors 5, Dynasty Warriors 9, Samurai Warriors 5, the big one, My Little Pony, A Maritime Bay Adventure, Fast and Furious, Spy Racers, Rise to Shifter, and Metal Jam Steel Titans. For those of us subscribed to the premium tier, you so sad sex with me. You can download the PSP version of Gravity Crush Portal and then the PS1 versions of Twisted Metal in Twisted Metal 2. They finally did it, Logan. They gave us one of their own IPs, man.
Oh my god, it only took literally forever, but hell yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I love that.
I'm not going to throw out any conspiratorial thought processes here, but there might be a connection to a TV show coming out on July 27th called Twisted Metal over the reasons why these games are coming out now. So
that makes sense.
I'm not going to throw out the conspiratorial nature behind that, but it seems pretty obvious if you ask me. But anyway, yes, awesome that Twisted Metal is coming to the premium subscriptions. I will be downloading at least the original. I fucking love Twisted Metal. I grew up. It's one of the games I played on my original PS1 back in the day. I can't wait to play that again. But man, It Takes Two, an amazing video game. Happy to see that come. And what are you gonna download? World War Z? I know you love that game.
Well, I don't have extra.
You gonna get extra?
No, I already own World War Z, so it's good.
Okay,
it's a fun game. I really like it. I do think. I mean, obviously, there's some poopy ones in here.
There's always is.
My Little Pony. Oh God. Fast and Furious 2. Ugh. But yeah, I think It Takes Two. If you haven't played it, by the way, guys, go fucking play it. It's great. You do need another person with you. Do not try to play it by yourself. It's not gonna be fun. It's definitely a game to play. Well, it literally is in the name. It takes two. So it takes two people. So go play it with someone else. Trust me, fantastic. Separately 5 is also really cool, and they added like a new feature where you can like invade other people in their games, and it's really cool actually. Yeah, there's a lot of pretty good ones. I'm really fucking happy they're finally adding some of their goddamn games from the classics, dude. Jeez. Twisted Metal 1 and 2, that's a really good one in my opinion. I'm very happy about that. I actually have always wanted to go and play some of these. I played a little bit of them when I was younger, but I really liked it when I was a kid. I think Twisted Metal's awesome. Now, we didn't put this in our stories, but I don't think the show looks super good at all. But I don't think I'm gonna spend money.
I think it looks
because
fun.
dude, they made fucking what's his name? Miles, or what is his name called? What is his name? Why am I not remembering it?
Who are you talking about?
The clown.
Oh, Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth, dude. They ruined him, man. He sucks.
Who the fuck is Miles?
Sorry, no, what?
You said Miles.
I said Smiles.
Oh, Smiles. I said Miles.
Know why
I
thought that was it.
Who the hell is
no,
Miles?
Sweet Tooth Man he is not. Nah, I think it's pretty bad, man. Like, they made him into this really funny comedy. That's not who he is as a character, dude. He's a psychopath. He doesn't joke around. He doesn't do like, oh, ho, ho, I sing about this song. Like, no, he's a ruthless fucking crazy killer. That's what he is.
I mean, he does joke around a lot in the games.
Not really.
In the original
Have you watched like some of the? I should send you some of the cinematics from their old games, dude. It's a polar opposite of who he is in the show.
When you're playing with him, he does kind of make, especially in Black, in Twisted Metal Black, he makes super quippy jokes. So we'll see. Fair. I'm gonna watch it. I'm not expecting it to be amazing or anything. I am excited about the writing team behind it. It should be funny. It should be
no, I like Deadpool. Yeah, hell yeah.
But all right, like we did last week, like I said, I was waiting for PlayStation to post the top downloads on the PlayStation Store for June 2023, and they finally did it. So the rankings go as such. To absolutely no one's surprise, the number one game on the PS5 for the US and Canada territories is Diablo 4. Followed closely, well, probably not that closely, but followed by Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6, Grand Theft Auto 5, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, NBA 2K23, FIFA 23, MLB The Show 23, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Marvel Spider-Man, AEW Fight Forever, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Hogwarts Legacy, Cyberpunk 2077, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, F1 23, Need for Speed Unbound, and Dead Island 2. Still hanging on in the top 20. And that was your month of June 2023. Congratulations to Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6, GTA 5, still at number 4, which is the most ridiculous thing of all time. By the way, did you hear the funny story? That Final Fantasy finally surpassed, as a franchise, 180 million units sold, which is a huge milestone, and that's awesome. And GTA 5 has also sold 180 million units, which is inconceivable. That's fucking ridiculous, dude. GTA 5 is probably the most successful singular video game ever made.
I don't know how they do it, man. The thing is,
Well, I
I
know how
think
they
they
do
are,
it, but
dude. They have to be shaking at their boots the fact that they are about to make a new GTA, and not only that, but they are going to have to make a new online mode. And dude, that they have a lot to live up to say the least. So
how expensive do you think GTA 6 is?
stupid amount, probably like I don't even know. Because I don't know if it's the same team as who makes Red Dead. Is it a different team or is it the same team?
It's the same development studio, like the same section of Rockstar, but like who knows the individual people in there. Um,
True.
but I would not gasp if they said this is a $500 million game. I
Oh, I
wouldn't
wouldn't
even
be surprised
I
either.
wouldn't even blink at all, which is again inconceivable. But dude, 180 million units.
And it just still isn't stopping.
Oh no, that didn't slow down since its launch once.
That's insane.
That's I mean, it's got most sold video games. Oh, I spelled all that wrong, but that's okay. List of best-selling video games. Okay, it's number 2. Can you guess what number 1 is?
Mario Kart 8.
No, Minecraft. Mario Kart 8 is number
Oh,
5.
Minecraft. Okay.
Mario Kart 8 has sold 62 million units. That's also ridiculous.
Yeah, that's insane.
Oh wait, I can't count. I'm dumb. It's number 6. My bad. Hey, Red Dead Redemption 2, number 7.
Hey, okay.
8. There we go. My bad.
Yep, they threw it under the bus because it wasn't making as much as GTA 5.
See, that's dumb. There's only one game that's ever made as much. That's, and I guarantee you, GTA 5 has made way more money than Minecraft has. It just hasn't sold as many copies.
Oh yeah, yeah, big
Yeah,
time.
yeah. The amount of
Because the
money that
monetization
GTA Online
on
brings in.
GTA
Yeah,
5 is stupid.
dude, there's people that live their lives on GTA 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get to the closing segments. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Around the Point. A lot of different stories. We had fun. We talked about some stuff. We talked some shit here and there. Logan's wrong about The Last of Us Part 2, but that's okay. Let us know down below what you have to say about anything we talked about, whether you disagree with us, whether you love us. What do you think about the APK signing? We finally addressed it on the show. We were holding off as long as we could, but we really couldn't hold off anymore. So, and maybe you ready for that bear sex? All right. Let's go now to Let's Talk Reviews, also known as LTR. This is where we go through each and every week and give you the review scores for the games that you got a chance to play this week. And let me tell you, what a big one. Lost in Play came out on iOS and Android, and I have no clue what it is, but it got an 83 in 2020. Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals came out and got a 78. Gravity Circuit came out and got a 90. Jagged Alliance 3, 82. I knew I was going to pronounce this wrong. Atelier. There we go. Marine Remake, The Alchemist of Salzburg, 75. And Testament, The Order of the High Human, that game that looked really exciting. It's essentially Skyrim. Well, I got a 43, so not as good as Skyrim. That's good, I guess. So, all right, Mr. Birdman. Are
All
you
right.
waiting with bated breath for Exoprimal scores to finally come in?
Yeah, I would love to actually get a good just a score. I want the band-aid to be ripped off. Just show me what he got. That's what I want to see. Um,
I will say,
so
if you lose points and I gain points, it's going to make it very difficult for you to come back.
I know. That's why I'm really hoping it's at least. I mean, heck, I'd be again 70. I'd be fine if we both got 0. I don't really care, but I do. I mean, I'd be very happy if I at least even get some points out of it. Like 75, sick. I just don't want it to be negative. That's all I want.
I have a
So,
feeling it may go at least a couple points in the negative. It's not going to be, you know, Redfall bad, but I, I am looking at it and I'm thinking 68-ish, 69-ish. I do think I'll get something. I don't think you're going to lose a whole bunch. You're not a DJ situation over here, but
yeah, because I don't think it's that bad. I
no,
understand there's definitely some problems with it.
it's just
But
incomplete.
yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. We're going to go now to Out This Week, where these are the games that you get a chance to play this week on the console of your choice. And let me tell you what, it is a banger of a week. A whole bunch of things coming out. I'm just kidding, by the way. It's like nothing. So,
Well, you just offended DJ. You know that, right?
I don't give a fuck
There's a
if I
big
offended
one
DJ.
coming out this week.
DJ, you know where I live. Ask for my address. Come fight me. I'm just kidding. I don't want to fight DJ. I love him too much. Anyway, on July 18th, Viewfinder comes out on PS5 and PC. On July 20th, Might and Magic Clash of Heroes Definitive Edition on PS4, Switch, and PC. On July 21st, the game that nobody cares about, Pikmin 4, comes out on Nintendo Switch.
Yep, no one at all cares about that game.
I'm just kidding. I'm the only one that doesn't care. I don't think Logan cares. So
I don't care either. No,
yeah. But it's probably going to score very well. So it looks
I'm
like
sure
it's going to score really good. Again, I tried Pikmin 3. Didn't like it, but apparently it's the worst one. So my bad, I guess. My fault for playing the.
when I can go play the first two on Switch. So
Well, won't do that. You know what? The other day I was playing Final Fantasy 16 and I kind of looked down at my Switch, which has just been like off for like months at this point in time. I'm like, man, you poor thing. Hey, you know what? It will turn on for Super Mario RPG at some
Yeah.
point in time. Maybe not this year.
maybe even Tears of the Kingdom. At some point. Yeah.
With this schedule, 2025 at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you're gonna need a couple months at least to play through Tears of the Kingdom. I still haven't beat it. I still play it every so often.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not in the mood. I gotta be in the mood
That's
to
fair.
play a game that big, so but I'm not feeling it right now. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all had fun. We had a blast treating you with the serenity of our voices. But unfortunately, this brings us to the end of our show. Everyone who's either watching or listening, we just want to take this time, as always, and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your support, we could not be doing what we're trying to do here at the Experience Point. But please help us to continue to grow by telling everyone out there that you know who even has the slightest appreciation for all things pop culture, that they have some new friends waiting to talk all sorts of fandoms with them. We, as always, would greatly appreciate it. The big bad Mr. Birdman, any last words?
Thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know we got into a little bit of ranting, but I hope you guys enjoyed that part. I mean, heck, if you want to comment down below and maybe put your own opinion, what you think about The Last of Us 2, or I don't know, even just if you want to even talk about the court case that Xbox just won. I'm glad to hear your opinions. I don't think everybody should agree with me. I think it's more importantly to hear everyone's opinions. So if you have anything to say down below, make sure to do that. Also, as Mike has talked about at the beginning of this episode, I think we would really appreciate it if you guys would like to give us some of your questions for the week. Not because we're running out of questions, but more that I would love to hear what you guys have to ask. Because I don't know, it'd be fascinating, and maybe for us to answer that. Or heck, if we get a huge flood of it, maybe we could do a Q&A as a question of the, or not question of the week, as the point of the show. So other than that, I'm gonna bring back the mic and we're gonna get on out of here.
Well, once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. This has been another episode of the XP Podcast brought to you by Mike and Logan of the Experience Point. I hope everyone has a great weekend. As always, see you guys in the next one.
Adios.
Deuces. Adios.